Oh, yeah. A little less than Jake. This is a Scott-only podcast.
You are watching Sessions, stream live from Shaker's Bar, downtown Cape. The only place you can do this in town, actually. We're the only, found out, besides some local small music shows, we're the only one that does this, especially at a bar. So we're revolutionary, I guess you could say. But look at you. You look like a rock star pauper homeless guy.
Excuse me.
That's exactly what I was going for this morning.
I thought it was. So if you guys are
it's Nikki 6 in
just
5 years.
joining us, if you have joined us in the past, I know there's many of you that will be joining us every week and have been very devoted to the show. You'll notice to my left the tall. Well, this guy's tall too. I got a lot of height over here. Yeah, we're kind of leaning this way, but we got a new guest.
It's
he's not new to the downtown or not new to the bar, but everybody knows him. You love him. It's Monroe. Chris Monroe is sitting in this week.
Hi, I'm Zachary.
Never seen you before in my life.
Not at all.
He had to kind of get his.
But I don't like you for some reason.
He had to get his gut up to kind of.
You got that type of face that just want to punch.
To be ready for the show. So welcome, Chris.
Put your damn phone on silent, rookie.
Fucking
Tell these
noob.
guys over here. So Chris brings a interesting, I guess you'd say, viewpoint to everything. He's one of the fact checker guys.
Oh, always.
So he'll quick fact check stuff. So that's good to have him on here. Jonathan used to that. I don't know that we're going to have Jonathan back anytime soon. Jonathan, we loved having Jonathan here.
It's his birthday, actually.
Oh, is it?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Jonathan.
birthday,
Jonathan.
I don't know if he's watching, but if he is, happy birthday to you.
Well, if he's not, he's dead to us.
You're dead. But
Damn.
But happy birthday to Jonathan, and we've got our three regulars, Zach and Cody and Matt, still here. He's still hanging in there for us. Good thing you're here this week because we're doing crime and punishment this
Your hair
week.
looks sick tonight.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I parted it on the other side this time.
Oh, is that what you did?
Yeah, I did. Can't you tell?
You need to let this
Oh, it
grow
looked
out
a
and
little different.
Do the Jean-Luc Picard for us.
Right.
Just go full skullet.
On screen.
I'm repping tonight for Blues and
Well,
Red
that
Hawks.
sucks. Hey.
That's nice.
This was at the
nice.
game the other day. They gave this out if you had a ticket. So I'm repping Blues Red Hawks. So let me turn it this way. There we go.
What did you get a ticket for?
Ticket to ride.
Exposure.
Indecent
Well,
exposure.
they did say she's got a ticket to ride, so now we know who she is.
No, the
what you
tickets
get for polishing that
for the
head.
basketball game, for the men and women's basketball, and they won both games. So the women's team is already having a good year. They're doing really well, and the men's team
Very good
actually,
year.
I will give compliments to the men's team from SEMO. They look very athletic, very high level. They actually look pretty good this year. So
Better off than Kentucky
I
right
agree.
now.
Kentucky just lost to Evansville, which we do play Evansville this year. So this should be an interesting game. Sometimes you can't beat the best schools,
If
but
we
sometimes
beat 'em-
you
if
can
we-
beat the school that beat the school.
That's
not
what I'm
a
saying.
fan
If we
of
beat them,
Evansville.
that makes us better than Kentucky, right?
It doesn't, but
a hard schedule.
that's
To
a
be
great
the
way to
man,
look
you got to
at
beat
it.
the man.
All right, so we've got a lot to talk about tonight, some funny stuff and some interesting stuff. Anything you guys want to specifically bring up about anything?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I need to
Pokemon
go
Sword
home.
and Shield comes out in like 2 hours.
Yeah,
I'm
we're-
play it.
we need
The
to
new
go.
Pokemon game. Me and Zach have them already bought and ready to go. So,
Oh, what is it?
Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's a game.
Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Came out when I was 8, so don't make fun of me for being 32 and liking Pokemon. So,
Well, everybody knows what kind of nerds.
Don't make fun of me for being definitely younger than him.
We're all kind of nerds in one way or another. We all like certain things that are kind of nerdy. Chris is a huge sports buff. He has a lot of information up here. So is
that
this
makes me the
guy.
opposite of a nerd.
Yeah, I was going to say,
actually.
it's definitely not nerd.
It's nerdy when you're older and you get in fantasy.
This
leagues.
table is segregated.
Oh, so you guys are
You got the
hating on
fucking
the
jocks.
non-nerds?
Yeah, these are the jocks on the side. Then we got the
What?
nerds over here.
First
I
time
am
I've
not
ever
a
been
jock.
referred to
I'm-
as a
You're repping
jock.
the
I'll
sports
take
teams,
it.
man.
I love.
I think now
SEMO.
we're supposed to give him a swirl.
I'm repping. I think there's a few others at the table that like the Blues besides just me.
I think everybody at the table.
No
played
one.
them, actually.
No one likes the Blues.
Everybody at the
Now,
table.
now
likes the
everybody
Blues.
just quit watching. We
Get
went down
out.
to 0 viewers. Great.
Yeah, he's from Boston, so we can hate on him.
That's the shirt.
The Cardinals had to sacrifice themselves to get you off of that curse. So congratulations.
Yeah, that's-
2004.
And then the Bruins laid down in Game 7 for us.
I don't think they laid down. I just don't think they could play with us. Is what it is. And
We
now
played
look at
their
them this
game better
year.
than they did.
God bless them this year. Boy, what the hell? Have they won a game yet?
Ouch.
Boston Bruins.
Ouch.
1 or 2? Or
No, like we're at the top of the division.
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah, no, we kind of just stay that way. until we
you don't.
decide that the Blues needs the same mercy that your
We didn't need
beloved
mercy.
Cardinals
It wasn't
gave.
mercy. We Blues just literally kicked your ass.
That is not true.
Straight up kicked your ass. Does anybody else doubt there was an ass whooping?
Christy, we were actually
I want
watching
to say
the
this
Steelers game.
for the facts of the thing.
Okay.
The Yankees were up that year 3-0 on Boston. Never been done before in a 7-game series. Boston came back and won all 4 of the next games and then won the next 4
wait,
against us.
It had been done before. We need to look up the
No,
facts on
that had never happened in baseball.
Let's look that up.
You can look it up. I'm right.
You know, he's actually correct on that.
Yeah, I am.
Nobody's ever come back from down 3.
I think we need to look it up.
It hasn't happened in baseball since. It's happened in hockey once.
I think we need to look it up.
Maybe twice.
Game 3.
Get on it.
Come back from 3 down.
Dude,
Somebody look
they're,
that
they're
up
huge Steelers
while we're
fans.
doing
Nose goes.
while we're doing this show.
It's never happened in the NFL.
Ooh, Lank, you have to look it up, dude. Lost.
Yeah, it's never happened in the NFL because they don't do 3-0. They don't do series.
That's right.
But somebody look it up because I don't think that's true. I think there was a
Chickadee
game
China,
before that,
the
but whatever.
Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick.
Anyway, interesting back for us. But we're gonna actually bring up a topic later that brings the Dallas Cowboys into it.
Man.
With the crime and punishment, because Dallas is well known to have criminals on their team. So
An 0-3 deficit
So are
has
the
been
Patriots.
conquered once by the curse-busting Red Sox against the Yankees in the 2004 American League Championship Series. Shut it.
what's the site?
Look at that source.
Yeah, it's like
Look at
the
that sauce.
Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
That is from MLB.com.
And don't do shut it. I just asked you to look it up.
Irreparable
Don't be
source,
a woman
fake
about
news.
it. Like my wife. There you go. I proved it. All I wanted to do was look it up
know
because I
what?
thought
When-
there was another. I thought there was another
you're
one.
talking to a
My
guy that
dad
argues
told
for
me
a
when I
living.
was a kid, when you're right, you're right. And he was right.
I may not be right, but I'm
Nothing
never
like stating
wrong.
the obvious. When you're right, you're right.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so we know now that there was no game 3.
Carrie's here for the
3
Pokemon talk.
games.
Yeah.
3 games come back before that. So, as we get to the topic of the crime and punishment, we'll bring Chris into it because I've got some things we're going to talk about.
Pass interference.
So, if you're watching tonight, Thursday Night Football is what? Is that Cleveland?
Yeah,
Cleveland and
Browns
Pittsburgh.
Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Okay. What's the score?
Steelers will lose by 7.
7-0 Browns.
All right. Browns are having fun.
Come on, Rapesburger.
Rapes.
He is on the sidelines.
Yeah,
getting
he's
hurt.
on IR.
That was never proven. You
riddance,
paid
dude.
her off.
Good. riddance.
Look,
You're
listen,
a Patriots fan.
No, it's
Your owner got a $40 rub and tug.
Let me
Yeah.
Rudolph.
Let me tell you
That's
something.
good money.
If you pay a woman off, or you buy her a ring, or you do something to keep somebody quiet, you did
You
it.
still raped them.
You did it.
They were just okay
still
with the
raped.
Well,
reprimands.
here's the thing. We don't. But see, that's the thing is we don't know. Here's the thing. We weren't there, so we're going by what the woman said, and we want to believe the woman. But when
When you said
have-
the woman, was he part of a trans
I have no idea.
raping?
We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know.
Yes,
Just like
ma'am.
what happened with Kobe Bryant in Colorado? He's in the hotel room. Girl comes up, knocks on his door, and says, "Hey, you're Kobe Bryant. Can I come in and party with you? Sure, come on in." And then next thing you know, he's charged with rape. So, and this was like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'm not saying that's
And
allowed.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
That was
He was just trying to get rid of pudding pop.
Yeah, I can't give you props on Bill Cosby, man. Bill Cosby was guilty.
dude.
There's too many. Look,
R.
if it
Kelly?
would have been one,
Catholic Church.
you're pulling out the hardest of the one. Pull out one that might be borderline.
I don't pull out.
You don't
Like
have
George
sex.
Bush in Iraq.
It's easy when you don't have sex. All right.
What up?
Anyway, but that's good to know that you don't pull out.
Yeah, life fucks me enough, man.
difference between me and my couch.
So, man, you went through that.
I did.
How much did you drink before you got here?
Come on.
Just 2.
Come on.
Oh,
What
okay.
is
And
happening?
then 7.
Good.
There were 4 dudes on them. They couldn't get them down.
That's the magic
Phrasing.
of Mayfield, man.
There's always 4
Magic
dudes on them.
Mayfield, man.
Get out of here. He's about to be out of there anyway.
Whatever.
We're talking about taking with the
Quit hating on
XFL or
Cleveland.
whatever.
Quit hating on Cleveland.
Fuck Cleveland.
Cleveland hates on Cleveland. What are you
Quit
talking
hating on
about?
Cleveland, man. One of
They
these days-
canceled his
One of these
show.
days they'll win.
One of these days.
One of these days there'll be something.
At least they got basketball, right? Or had.
Well, they had basketball. No, they had LeBron is what they had.
And Kyrie. They both
LeBron
skipped town.
James.
Yeah. Anyway, anybody been to Cleveland?
Yeah.
Have you?
I've been to the airport.
Do you still? meet-
That's
do
where
you-
that guy
do you
with the
still
weird
meet
haircut
Cleveland?
has his ads there. The
Yes,
dentist.
I do. I have
Cleveland's
a.
actually a pretty cool town.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everybody on my
That's it.
grandmother's side up, on my mom's side is Amish, and I have a lot of family around the Akron area.
Oh, there's a lot of Amish. There's an Amish.
I love
There's
Ohio as a
tons
state.
of Amish
I bet you're
in
good
Ohio.
at churning butter.
You know I am, boy.
I've
It's all
been
about
to
the
Dayton,
risks.
Springfield
Dude,
tons of times.
it's all in there. You get that
you guys
shoulder
are
action.
gross. You guys are gross. What
a
the
milk
imagery
cow.
it just came into my
Always
into my
heating them
head.
hands.
Damn you.
Do, 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 do.
So you've got Amish relatives. That's cool. That's awesome. Can you make a cabinet?
No, I set everybody from my grandmother up. I got none of that.
Are
shit.
you good at making electric fireplaces?
The Mennonites build damn good camping trailers.
He'd call them and ask for
They-
directions, but
Almost all of them are built in Indiana by Mennonites.
I got
and
one
they're
thing from those
amazing people.
Amish relatives of mine. That's it.
I like the Mennonites, man. They dress kind of cool. They come to town and go shopping. They hang out together. They're family oriented. They're pretty cool folks, man.
Have you heard of an Amish drive-by?
Yeah.
Bang.
It's not bang. They stop and go.
They're a lot
I
more-
admonish you.
Right. They're actually
Sinner!
a lot more technologically advanced than you think. They have like electricity and they use like TVs for like
Amish?
weather and stuff like that.
Really?
Yep.
I guess
They're
there's
not completely stuck.
Not
There's
all
anything
of them.
that-
Not all of them.
They don't use
No
they
phones,
don't
no
use
lights, no
technology
motor cars.
recreationally, but if it can help them out in a sense of making things easier around what they're doing, then they're willing to make compromises.
there's an old school Amish and there's a newer
Yeah.
school Amish.
Yeah.
The newer school Amish has kind of made adjustments for the real world. And you know, they used to have that show on that they would they always have that time where the Amish leave.
Rumspringa.
and go-
Rumspringa. So that's how my
That's how we
grandmother
got Cody.
That's how I'm alive today. Is because my grandmother left for Rumspringa and never went back.
She partied. She was like, I'm having babies. Awesome.
And look at you passing it down the line. Good
Right?
job.
Yeah. Oh, I went for Rumspringa and never came back too. I'm still on Rumspringa. Right.
So
we called that college at
wait,
first.
wait, let's say it again. Say it. Enunciate the word.
Rumspringa?
Rumspringa.
Rumspringer. And that means
Whenever you turn 16 in the Amish community, you get a chance to go out and experience the world. And if you go out and come back, you're accepted. If you decide to stay out, then you're excommunicated from the rest of your
so
family.
you literally can do anything you want when
Yep.
you leave your community.
Yep.
And as long as you come back,
Then
you're
you're
forgiven
accepted.
everything.
Yep.
No
What
matter
if you
did.
come back pregnant?
Doesn't matter.
Accepted.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Okay, so
Whatever you
that's
do during your Rumspringer is on
So-
you. It's none of their business. They don't ask. You don't tell.
so when you're 16, do you have a guide that goes with you?
I think most likely. I think it just depends on the family.
Because
mean,
I
they get
watched
to decide how they
Kingpin.
wanna
I
do
watched Kingpin. And Kingpin.
If you've ever watched Sex Drive, there's a pretty funny Rumspringer.
Oh,
episode of
yes.
that, too.
Yeah.
And Fall Out Boy.
Yep. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, that's cool.
Rumspringer.
So
What, you act like we can't take apart a car?
in the news, I thought you might find this interesting because you're a Robin Williams fan. I think you are too.
Oh.
Right?
Huge one.
Oh, down, Mr. Happy.
I found out something and I did some research into it. Robin Williams, they said they attributed his suicide to a couple different things, but the main thing is he had a form of dementia. I don't know
Yes.
if anybody knew that. I wanted to clear the air with people so everybody understood. We talked about mental health on the show several
I
times.
did not know that.
And it turned out that he had this really weird form of dementia that doesn't affect a lot of people, but it basically makes you view reality completely different from everybody else. So he would, and Bobcat Goldthwait, the comedian from like the 80s and 90s, was a good friend of Robin's.
Amazing person. Scrooged, one of my
Oh
favorite
my God,
movies.
yes.
So Bobcat Goldthwait was talking to Joe Rogan, and Bobcat was explaining, he knew Robin Williams really well, and they were good friends. And Robin actually got him jobs when he was starving and didn't have any money and couldn't, his shtick wasn't working anymore, so he got him a Snickers commercial. But anyway, Bobcat was talking about the fact that when they did the autopsy, they discovered that Robin Williams had this really different kind of form of dementia. And Bobcat spoke to the fact that he'd been around Robin, and he didn't go into detail, but basically said, I was around Robin Williams when he had some of his episodes because it was disease, and it was all over his brain evidently, and it wasn't. You don't know about it until you're dead. They don't. It just takes almost like the CTE.
Yeah,
the
that's what I was
concussion
thinking.
protocol. It's almost the same way. You can't discover it until they're dead because you have to dissect the brain. You have to take it apart, and they've tried that with me, and it doesn't work. So.
I mean, you kind of don't get to be that level of eccentric without having some sort of ulterior.
Well, I mean, I think
things
there's
that-
Coke helps.
well, that's true. Now, here's the thing. What happens, and we know how this is a lot of times, and it's in sports too, but a lot of times, talented people, whatever it's sports or art or whatever it is you are on this high of performance and being the center of attention and got all this stuff going on all the time that you use drugs to counteract some of that stress. And if you also have a mental illness on top of that, it becomes a tragedy. I mean, if you look at like Heath Ledger, who great actor. That's the same thing. He actually, his buddies that knew him really well talked about the fact that his heroin addiction wasn't a long time thing. He'd only been addicted for a couple of years, and it only came about when he started getting stressed out about these big roles and kissing a man, I guess would be. Well, I'm just saying it cost
It was
him,
mouth kisses and only on
him,
Saturdays.
Well, it caused him a lot of different feelings about things, and he had
Puts
to
a whole new
cope
meaning to
with it.
Tuesdays with Maury.
Nothing wrong with kissing a guy. If you want to kiss a guy, kiss a guy. I'm just saying in what he spoke to, what he spoke to, what he spoke. You kissed a guy. Anyway, like we said, we love everyone, but it affects people differently. But anyway, so I thought I'd bring up a couple of things.
600-pound gorillas got you by the nips.
Any movies? Any movies anybody wants to bring up?
I don't have it.
What? You listen.
I bought
boyfriends.
tickets to Frozen 2, so.
Okay, there you go. Frozen 2 is coming. Interesting.
Pretty-
I have not heard
pretty
any songs
manly
yet.
show.
We talked about this before.
Praise Jesus.
I have not heard any songs yet, and I'm interested in what the songs are because
Get him.
you want to take the
No, go
show
ahead.
off. And,
Sorry. I mean, yeah, if you guys want to give me like 10, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I've been
I think
seeing
it'll take
people
more
talk
than
about the
10.
Disney Plus only getting to watch Frozen because they're kids right now.
Right.
Yeah, Disney Plus just came out.
I had my kid watch Mickey Down Under, which was from 1941 last night, and she loved it.
Did she?
My oldest she grew up watching those old Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck cartoons too, so, good job, Disney.
You guys can say what you want, but the past couple of days downtown have been absolutely devastatingly slow, and I guarantee you 90% of that is because it was cold and Disney Plus came out. People are like, I'm not leaving the house.
I actually thought about that today when I've seen all these people that I know come to this bar.
Yes.
Talk about Disney Plus,
Everybody.
I'm like,
Everybody.
oh,
My entire
come on,
feed
man.
is
10
blowing
million
up.
people signed up
All right,
yesterday.
real quick though, about Disney Plus, it's not all Disney.
No.
Like, there's a slew of Robin Williams movies on there.
Yeah.
They bought 20th
they own
Century Fox,
property.
too.
They own property like Marvel.
They own everything.
They own everything.
And those genius bastards made a snow day the day they released it.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, they manipulated the weather and made a snow day.
Did you see that Netflix is trying to clap back by joining
With
up
Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
They're going to release all the Nickelodeon stuff on
I don't think
Netflix.
they can beat
So
Disney.
Ed
though.
and Eddie.
It won't hurt.
Nickelodeon had some pretty cool
Right.
stuff, but I noticed the people.
Ed and Eddie was Cartoon Network, dog. You better than that, Chris.
Yeah.
I thought they were owned by Nickelodeon.
No, that's Cartoon Network. Separate subsidiary. I actually think Cartoon Network is actually down the line owned by Disney. Can anybody look that up? I think it is owned by Disney. Disney owns everything.
No, I
I'm
don't
just going
think
to tell you
so.
right
I
now.
think-
There's about 5 or 6 companies.
Because they're part of the Williams Street conglomerate.
They
with
ruined
Adult
Star
Swim,
Wars.
aren't they?
You know what Disney doesn't own? These nuts.
Oh no, they own them.
enough.
I already have my Disney Plus
So
subscription.
they talk about in conspiracy circles. There's 5 or 6 companies in the world basically.
Yeah.
That own a bunch of other companies. So you got Google, and then you go and like I brought this up on another show. You go
Kraft.
you look up George Soros, what George Soros owns.
Rothschilds and all that.
Yeah, well the Rothschilds are banking and industry. They're kind of a little different, but yeah, that's true.
Same with Warren Buffett.
Yeah, he's a big investor. He's a land buyer, but yeah, I mean, there's a guy over in Australia that's real big in that.
Disney Plus.
Carlos
Not to be confused with Jimmy Buffett.
Carlos Slim from Mexico is another one. He owns all the. Well, that was a coup for him, as a super duper rich guy, a billionaire in Mexico. He forced the government into a contract with him for cell towers, and he's the only one that can have the cell towers. No other companies. Now there's little tiny ones now, but yeah, Carlos Slim when he did that, he said, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do this and I'll buy this and I'll do that, but I'm the only one going to have cell towers. So it was all him, it was all his stuff.
Disney Plus got connected to Epstein. Not Disney Plus, but Disney. They said a cruise ship stopped at Pedophile Island, one of the Disney cruises.
Really? You gonna
I don't
finish
know
the
if it's
joke?
true, but no, seriously. Like I saw a thing on that today.
Oh, really?
You know, Disney owns ABC too.
Oh yeah. They own ESPN.
ABC kind of turned a blind eye to a whole bunch.
You know
right.
they call Disney the castle now, right? So that recent exposure, the recent exposure where the ABC commentators was talking about the Epstein story, and they caught her on the hot mic, and which I think she knew it was on anyway. I think she was talking.
Oh
but,
yeah,
but
she wanted that to come out.
they caught her on a hot mic, and I think, but she said that the castle or the palace, they call it the palace. That's what
we're
who
big
Disney
on
is.
we're big on conspiracy theories here.
Of course.
Here's one. Shield your ears, children.
No, don't shield your ears.
Disney supports pedophilia.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh no, it's out there now. Pure opinion. Blah blah blah. Fucking people.
They
It's
offered
conjecture,
excursions
it's not
to Epstein's Island.
What is that? Washington Post? Was that excursions before all this happened?
That would be great if that's Washington Post.
It is Washington
Right?
Post.
Wayne Dupree, that kind
Gonna
of.
throw some
Yeah,
real quick.
he's a conservative.
Caleb said
Not that
Disney
that
Plus is dangerous.
discounts
Netflix
it.
and chill is over. Time for Disney Plus and thrust.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's
And,
too obvious, though. The reason I like Netflix and chill is you could say it. If you're a parent, you could say it around your kids
Right.
when they're little. You
Right.
can say, "Hey, kids, it's time for bed. We're going to Netflix and chill." But you can't say Disney Plus and thrust.
No, you can't.
They'll be like, "Daddy, what's thrust mean?"
Disney Plus this dick.
And I looked it up. Disney does not own Cartoon Network. It's owned by Warner Brothers.
Oh, Warner Brothers. Who owns Warner Brothers?
Time Warner.
Who owns Time Warner?
I think it's-
They own
that
other
Rupert Murdoch?
things.
That's
Yeah,
Rupert
Turner.
Murdoch.
Time Warner is one of the people.
Rupert
who
Murdoch
all that
owns
shit.
Time Warner, I
That
think.
makes sense.
Somebody want to look that up?
I don't know about
I think
that.
Rupert Murdoch owns Time Warner. Anyway,
I will look that up while you're talking.
yep. Yeah, I think that's Rupert Murdoch.
We're on a lot
Or
of
his
fact
family.
checking tonight.
There is.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing that. Well, here's the thing. We give our opinions, but then when we start talking about...
Guess who owns Time Warner? Fucking AT&T. The worst company on the
Wait,
planet.
AT&T, isn't that Disney?
No.
I think so.
Oh, damn, Caleb. Sorry, Epstein hung around longer than Antonio Brown this season.
Hell, I
Savage.
haven't been around longer than that ass had.
So I think I'd like to do a contest.
Second round draft pick, screw you, Antonio Brown.
I think I'd like to do a contest on the show where
Why on
we...
earth would you take him in the second round?
Because he was there.
Guys, we can't have side conversations. We're having one conversation. Makes it hard to hear. It can't, like, I listen to the show back, and I'm guilty of it too. But I try to listen to the show back, and then I can't hear like you guys having a conversation because somebody else is talking. So I'm trying to make it clear for everybody.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
having chili cheese dogs
But we're
delivered.
talking over you, which makes it more important then.
Oh, okay.
Ouch.
Does it?
No.
Oh, okay. It doesn't matter. I want them to be able to hear everything. So if you guys are having something interesting to say, then
We
that's
don't.
fine.
We don't.
You're
It's
talking about
Lank, of
contests.
course he doesn't.
But anyway, I think we should have a contest on the best white cat meme or Jeffrey Epstein meme. Now they're combining them.
Cody's got a good one.
Does he?
I do.
Is it the 4-panel with Hillary?
Oh, no, I'll show you in a second.
That's
Oh,
a
the
good
Hillary
one.
one's good. So send us right now while you guys are watching.
They
Whoever's
can't
watching,
send pictures.
They can send links. They can send us links in there. Send us a link to your favorite Epstein or white cat meme. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there. Now they're getting really creative, and now we got Leonard, 89 Cent Leonard.
Dude, I
Yeah.
love those.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, those are gold.
That's what the Scooby-Doo one's good. But we've got a local guy, Brandon Irvin, who's expressed interest about coming on the show. So I hope Brandon does come on the show. But he actually created he started those. He's actually I saw him do his first stand-up down at Ragsdale's. This was a few years back. Really funny guy. He's got one of those kind of surly senses of humor, you know. But he started these 89 Cent Leonard. And if you guys aren't from the downtown area and haven't been down here, you don't know who 89 Cent Leonard is. Let me just expose and tell you what that is. We have a small community of, I wouldn't say vagabonds, but people
Vagrants?
that are panhandlers.
Vagrants.
Well, they all seem to have places to sleep, so that's good, and so they have places to go, so they don't die. But there's one in particular. He's a tall, slender guy, and it would be so awesome if we walked by right now because I would have Jay flip the camera around and show it. But
Yes.
we call him 89 Cent Leonard. He used to be, what did he used to be called? The 90 Cent Leonard or whatever?
It used to be
It was
like
85,
70,
yeah.
it's gone
85
up
cent.
very
And so
inflation's a bitch.
Inflation.
It
Because
is.
he used to go up to people downtown or wherever in town and say, "Hey, can you spare 85 cents or 89 cents?" So and what's ironic is that cost was how much it cost at SEMO oil gas to get a certain bottle of liquor that he wanted to get. That's where that came from. But anyway, he started this meme, Brandon did, he's got a picture of Leonard, and I remember when he sent out the post, "Hey, does anybody have a picture of Leonard?" And
He's got so many
several
great ones now.
Well, there's so many where he's looking in
yeah.
windows at
Yeah.
people, and he's an interesting looking guy to begin with, and so these memes are really funny because they're original, but they're kind of taking some spice from the Epstein and my new favorite is the one where he's hugging the guy and he goes, "Hey son, it's been so long. Hey, can you spare 89 cents? I'm about 89 cents short. Can you help me out?"
Inflation is
the-
threatening Leonard.
Yeah, I like that. Can I have 89 cents? Yeah, I got you.
I'll let him go up
God's
to
plan
99
starts
cent
playing.
Leonard.
Fun aside
I can
from
only
that.
let him go to 99 cent Leonard.
It was about this time last year. I had bought my car. Nobody had rode in it, including my wife. and I ran into him at Pockets. And I was pretty lit.
How hard did you hit him?
I was pretty lit at the time.
Oh, okay.
And
You said you ran into
He
him.
asked me for 89 cents, and I said no, but I can give you a ride, and I drove him down here to harass y'all, so you're welcome.
Oh, thanks, Lane. Appreciate it.
Real
awesome.
stand-up guy.
Thought we were cool,
Yeah.
man.
So he was the first person to ride in my car.
Oh, there
Other
you
than me.
go. Look at you.
Hey man, how y'all doing? I ain't gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Let me unleash this fury on the downtown area.
Well, that's like Wizard. Wizard comes up in here, and Wizard's the other guy who comes down. Now, Wizard doesn't really ask for money, though. He doesn't really ask for money.
No.
But this is one of the only
windows.
places he can go. The only places he can go where where he kind of doesn't get crap from people, but he'll come in and sit down and have a drink. But Wizard is a guy that wears a trench coat even in the summertime, often is barefoot, and has some unique views. Surprisingly, some very conservative views.
I don't think he's
of the
homeless or anything
world.
like that. I think he's just
Oh, he has a-
eccentric
he has a
as hell.
house. He's
Yeah.
He's very eccentric, but he's not homeless.
He's
but-
out there.
Yeah.
But he always has an opinion. He came in here a couple times, and I actually tried to get him to come on the show a couple times because that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can
God.
say that.
That would have been
He
interesting.
can have this chair.
But turn that mic down.
That would have been awesome. Yeah, he kind of gets excited about certain things and screams and yells and everything. Yeah. By the way, our good buddy Jay Johnson's back behind the camera.
Let's see that shirt.
What's going
Jay,
on?
now Jay, before you show your shirt, Jay, can I say who you got a job with, Jay? Yeah, Jay got a job with KFVS 12, which is our local CBS affiliate. In case you needed to know, I don't currently watch them, but Jay got a job behind the scenes doing. You're a master controller, right?
Yeah, master control.
What you do, like technical, like kind of what you're doing here, but on a much
It's a master
more
music.
professional scale. But yeah, so Jay got a great job with KFVS. It's right up his alley what he wanted to do. So he might stay around here a little bit longer now. We thought we were going to lose him back to the West Coast for a while, but I think he'll stick around for a little while. But he's just building his resume. Is that kind of what you're doing now? Building your resume and getting experience. So Jay, let's see your T-shirt now. Let's see what you got on.
I'm hoping we
Jay's
lose the West
Jay's
Coast.
into the dark music. Go ahead.
Nice.
Let's put it on the camera. We got to show them. What does it say?
Black
Black
craft
Craft
gold.
Cult.
Black what?
Craft
Black
gold.
Craft.
Black Craft Cult. Okay,
It's a shirt brand.
got it. All right. So Jay's into
I've worn a few of their shirts before.
yeah. Jay's into like and what would you say the name of the music is? Is it
All kinds.
black metal or dark metal or whatever?
I like just all metal.
Yeah, he likes all metal, so he has a large collection. Of course, he wears movies and other kind of shirts too, but he's got 50 or 60. Well, hell now, when you got a job, you get even more T-shirts. Watch out, Hot Topics. Here comes Jay.
Can I stop you for a moment? This is really important.
Yeah, sure.
Can you do your best Kermit the Frog impression for me?
I'm sure he's never heard that before. Come on,
It would be
Mike.
great.
Hey, if you
would
thought it
love
was important.
because Patrick Mahomes does it all the time, and he's famous as hell. So
Yeah, but Patrick Mahomes can throw the ball 65
got a cannon.
yards. Yeah, he can throw it 65 yards.
he can operate an iPad better than anybody in this bar.
Well, that's
Yeah, we kind of have
I
that
told
on
him that
video
when I
proof.
texted him. I'm like, man, it'd be good to have you back. And he said, yeah, it'll be good to be back. And I'm thinking to myself, you have no idea. we couldn't even get
Last week was rough.
Yeah, we started like 8 minutes late. It was
Yeah.
it was true havoc.
It's all about the first 10 minutes of last week's.
Yeah, so you saw.
The first 80% of that was just graphic.
Yeah, we were trying to figure. Well, and the bad thing is, I went to post it, give the title, and I posted episode 7 instead of 17. So 7
Close
was
enough.
We're
Well,
back in
7
time.
was the one that actually ran the whole thing. 17 was the one that I had to cut off because I couldn't get the graphic off the screen. And then I realized how to get the graphic off the screen. Hey, I can't help it, man. I just bought the thing. I don't know how it works. But anyway.
We have a guy.
The holidays are coming up, fellas. We just finished Halloween, of course, and that was a great time downtown. We talked about that a little bit. A lot of happenings around the area, and we're super excited about the holidays coming up. It's a great time for people to get out and see friends and family, and to kind of reminisce about the year. And this has been 2019's been kind of a crappy year, so I'll be glad when 2020 comes along. Already some good bands. We
in
talked about
20s.
this. Already, yeah, and that's the good thing is we're gonna make some announcement about what's going down here at Shakers. But one that I will announce now is there's a couple other things, but one for sure I'll announce is our New Year's Eve Roaring 20s party, which will be down here. So you'll come dressed to impress, and there'll be party favors. It'll be just like a Gatsby party, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, you got my zoot suit.
You got your zoot suit, cool.
Basketball shorts.
There you go. I'm gonna get you just a bow tie that you can wear.
I'm okay with that
Basketball
too.
shorts.
Yeah,
I
you
like
got
to wear
you got
a
enough.
tuxedo T-shirt so they know I'm like serious, but also kind of casual.
I get that.
But now the tux seems kind of.
Got fucked up.
But
Ketchup.
speaking of
Ketchup
that,
onion.
so we're going to do the New Year's Eve. We're doing a Roaring 20s theme for New Year's Eve. DJ Snaps will be back. She does a great job. And then I'm working on getting somebody else in here maybe to do some DJ work. But it's a great night. You come in, get here early, get some space in here. It's just $5 to get in. You get party favors. You get champagne toast at midnight. We're giving away our Jaeger machine that I've now unplugged. The Jaeger machine is getting given away to somebody. And I'm giving away a mystery trip for 2 to somewhere. So,
And I'm dressing up. That's a thing that I do because I don't care about anything else. So,
Heard.
you don't care about anything. Wow,
I literally don't.
Way to lay that out there.
Don't you have kids, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
I said what I said.
My
They don't
statement
watch
stands.
it fine.
Yeah, they don't watch
If
it.
they know what's good
That's
for them, they'll
good.
be in bed.
So Monroe
Yes.
is an interesting guy.
Man, he was really struggling for that one,
Search your
Chris.
feelings, Luke. You know it's true.
Use your senses, Luke.
You've become the
So-
very thing you were saying.
No, he's an interesting guy in the fact that I've asked him several times to be on the show, and he kind of put it off, and then he promised not to get too many whiskeys in him tonight because he tends to like to interrupt when he's drinking a lot of whiskeys.
I'll believe
Or
when I
he's
see
not.
it, Chris.
Well, he's doing great right now. I mean,
You leave Big Cody alone.
I didn't know I was coming on the show to get picked on. Jesus.
Big Cody. Well, you're the virgin, so we had.
Man, I
and
watched-
Jesus has nothing to do
gotta
with it.
raise you,
Hang
man.
on a minute. I watched you on first base as a runner get thrown out at second base on a fly ball to left field one time.
Yeah, but we also drank 6 gallons of beer during that
That
game.
landed. The ball landed, buddy.
I was so drunk I couldn't even see second base by that
Look, if
point.
Chris doesn't hit a home run, it ain't happening.
Yeah, who wants to run?
Yeah. So Chris is actually my head of security down here at the bar. He's been around the bar scene for about 15, 16 years, mostly downtown Cape and in the area, Bahama Mamas and wherever the heck it was.
Margarita
Margarita
Mamas.
Mamas.
Thanks, whatever the hell it was. I don't know.
Copa.
One of those places. Copa and
Rumors.
and
I'm going to give you so much trouble, and we'll see if you can bounce me out.
dude, give me your glasses. They're so nasty.
I'll go for the knees, man.
I don't see it.
You can't see anything, can
There
you?
you go, knock his
Gross.
glasses off. He can't see.
Yeah, I got his glasses off his face. Now look at that. Look at those beautiful eyes. Dark as night.
Play a game. Let's all just run and see what happens.
Yeah, just run.
See if he can make his way out of the bar.
Yeah, it was bothering me. The lights were messing me up.
Oh, I can't ever see when they're dirty, man.
The face only.
I'm
a
gonna
mother
see what
could
I
love.
look like in Zach's glasses.
Let's see it.
Oh my!
Like a hipster.
Jeez.
You look like a hipster.
No, man, these are terrible. It's like somebody put glasses, like a glass on my
Someone put
what?
glasses on me.
Oh, like those kind of glasses.
Kind of had a Paul Schaefer thing
Jesus,
going
you
on there.
can't. You really can't see, can you? You really can't see.
No, not at
Wow,
all.
we spoke to that, didn't we? That was. Whew. All right, God bless you, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look, yeah, your eyes were. There's your eyes. I can see your beautiful eyes now.
Yeah, I got a prism in this one that keeps the eye open.
There you go.
Forrest Whitaker?
Bana goo goo gaga.
Yeah, sing to me.
Put my name in it. I like,
like
it.
Yo, he was in Black Panther. If they
That's
could fix that,
two weeks in a row we've done Key and Peele references.
Yes.
I love it. So anyway, so we're gonna get to the Ezekiel Elliott category and
What you drop?
Drop something. It wasn't important. At least not a lit one.
20 of them in a pack. Or
So
whatever.
as we get closer to the holidays, you know what comes to mind is going to family and friends and sharing time at the holidays with people as we're getting ready for that time. And you know, since fall decided not to show up this year and went straight to winter, fall is my favorite season.
we had
too.
3 days of it.
Yeah, literally.
Really?
Yeah, it was like
11-9
60
to
degrees,
11-11.
yeah.
That's how notable it was. We had 3 days of fall and it went right to winter.
It was a good time.
Well, the almanacs is supposed to warm up again, so I don't know.
I think I had a bonfire somewhere there.
Yeah.
It's going to
So-
get back to normal.
So thinking of that, and I'm going to bring up a funny topic. Is have you ever thought about this? And I know maybe it's just my souped up crazy mind, but I would love a friendly warning when I go to friends and family's houses about places in the house they had sex.
Fair.
Don't touch anywhere in my house.
Well, here's
part
my
of the
thing.
mystery.
Here's my well, no, yeah. Unless you're going to your grandpa and grandma's house, that's gross.
I got to preface that. Preface that.
There we go.
Your Honor, I object to his
should.
line of talking.
You should.
Can we just not
I
talk
object.
about
When I-
where sex happened in
right.
houses?
No,
No, I
serious.
found some very unsavory information out,
Yes.
and I don't want to talk about it.
Yes, we're going to talk about it. Just
So
don't name names.
I lived with my
Or-
best friend Tony in college. We were roommates.
What's up, Tony?
And
Tony.
He's not watching. He's a loser.
Wow. I hope he's not watching.
Right? Well, if
Because
he,
you're
if he just happened to be tuning in.
We had
screw you, man.
We had one of those loft beds. And
Is that Wizard?
there was a couch under it. It was
No.
his couch. And he was like, you know what? I don't care if you sit on the couch. I don't care if you hang out on the couch. But you're not going to screw around on the couch.
I mean, you're not going to have sex on the couch.
And
Okay.
like 5 years after that, he found out I had pictures of my current girlfriend on that couch, naked. And he got really mad at me. I'm like, you had to expect...
Actual pictures.
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
like, you had to expect, and that's the only time
When
I've
it was
ever
filmed.
had to
The
disclose
1 hour
that
photo.
to life.
Yeah.
Was it a black leather couch?
No, it was just some shitty old plaid couch. Like, this couch was older than me. Okay?
Oh, my goodness.
I'm like, you had to know that was coming, man. Just because you told me, that's why I did
Yeah,
it.
that was what she said. Ba-da-ba! I'm always looking for an opportunity to use that one. So he found out about. So you had an actual picture of you with one of your
It was just
girlfriends.
her. It was just her.
Okay. Oh, it was just her on there.
And I did not
so you
mean for him to
did
see
she
it.
even know that
Why
you were
would you
taking
be
the
upset
picture?
about that?
Yeah, skeevy. Were you hiding taking the picture? You were being skeevy, or did you make her pose?
It was a really stupid
Is it from your
picture,
nanny
too.
cam?
Was it? Why was it stupid?
She was naked eating a hot dog.
That's not stupid. That's America.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. but-
Straight up America.
And if that girl is by chance listening, I no longer have that picture. Neither does he.
That's
We
good.
do, though.
I always thought that
And you can
the eye
catch
of
it
that
on the
teddy
link
bear in your
below.
living room looked a little weird, Matt.
Dear Penthouse Forum.
Speaking of,
Man, if that's the weirdest thing I've ever done, I'm good.
did we get any links yet from people?
Not yet.
See, I actually.
You're letting us down, folks.
Caleb
I actually
Caleb
found
sent a meme.
Caleb did.
Yeah,
Wait,
it
who's
was,
Caleb?
He's been he's a friend of mine. He's
Okay.
actually up in Wisconsin right now, watching up there.
Oh, David Goins. So speaking of, I want to make a quick announcement on something. There's a guy that just moved to the area to help out with family on some stuff, who's an executive chef and super knowledgeable guy on food and everything else, and he is helping me launch and start a food truck. Not going to tell you where it's going to be.
Feed me.
It's going to be in the parking lot. But it's
Steelers are killing me. Sorry, keep going.
so I'm happy to see he's actually watching the show. So David, welcome to the show. And is that Caitlin? I see Caitlin there. Is that her face?
What's wrong?
Right there, Caitlin.
Oh yeah, no, that's just a message.
Oh, okay. Ah, Caitlin's messaging you.
She's coming down later.
Okay, sure, Cody. Okay. Cody's got all these girls. Cody's single. He's got all these girls.
No, we're not doing
like
that.
harem.
She literally asked me if I was working and said she was coming down later. It's not
That's
like that.
code for
Pimpin',
are you
pimpin'.
naked?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's
He
not.
is naked. He is.
Okay.
Under the
So
clothes.
going back to the subject, I would love and this never happened, but I thought about it as I got older. When you go to a family member's house, I would like a little bit of a notice. Maybe just leave a little placard in the area, say not here, like don't sit in those places. Because could you imagine if you happen to be throughout the night, you're at your friends, you're having a couple drinks, and you happen to see a DVD and you pop it in, and it's like several places in the house where and you're actually sitting in one of the spots where one of their
Is that a thing that happens in real life?
I don't think
know.
so, but in my mind it was happening. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, all the years that you go around friends and family, and they,
I mean, I think when you become an adult in an adult life, that's just the thing that happens. If my friends come over to my house, they're going to know I've banged my wife on every piece of furniture in the house because that's
sorry,
what we
Mrs.
do.
Lawler. I'm sorry, Mrs. Lawler.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm getting divorced for that. Just
Yeah.
saying.
I can't
Yeah.
buy a plaque for every service in my home, Eric. Jesus.
It's like Service Master.
Just assume I've had sex there.
Hello,
Here
ma'am.
in the
I've got
mall.
some pipe to lay.
Does it count if you fuck yourself?
It counts extra,
actually, yes, because we're far less careful about that than we are when we're.
Can we just
listening
change my residence to Jackson Pollock's residence? Don't bring a black light. That's
Best reference ever.
Remember that Michael Scott and Dwight did the black light on the hotel room and said, "Oh, let's see. Oh yeah. Oh. What do you think it is? It's either urine, crap, or semen. I hope it's urine."
hope it's urine.
I saw a thing that
Michael!
they sold a set of pillows, and one said we had sex here, and then one and here, and here, and here.
Dynamite
See, so
drop in, Monty.
I'm not the only one that thought that way. I'm not the only one that thought that way. That's good. So you notice as we bring that up, anybody have any concerns about being in somebody's house
I
where
don't give a shit.
you don't care?
I do now.
Even when you pull your pants off and sit down with your butt on and stuff? You don't care?
I do that as soon as I walk into someone's house.
You posted that one thing
Yeah.
on Facebook about
drop pants,
here
drop
I am,
trowels
where I got to
as soon as I
answer the
walk
door
in.
with my pants or whatever it is. You get your pants off. How many out there? And this is interesting. And I'm super. I see Danny. Is Danny watching?
Yep.
Hey, Danny Stewart. Danny's funny. I'd love to get Danny on the show.
Oh, dude,
He's hilarious. And he's got a real sharp wit,
Very much so.
dangerous wit.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like with a sword.
Sharp as a knife.
Yeah, it's like you or Zach over there.
Oh, we forgot my name.
You were this guy over here that.
Why don't you call him down there, Robin?
I have so much stuff in my mind right now about the holidays and stuff I need to do and promotions and things. I just posted a buttload of stuff about the bar for the coming up. Chris has got a couple of good dates. We got Thanksgiving, Wild Turkey Thanksgiving with Chris. He gets behind the bar twice a year. One is on Thanksgiving and one is on Christmas Eve. And then we got Alec playing on Christmas Eve down here. I talked to him about that.
I thought it was Thanksgiving.
It might be Thanksgiving. It's fine.
Either way.
Both.
He can do both. I asked him
We
for
need
both.
music anyway.
And we're
I asked
gonna
you
do
for
a
both.
live stream that night, still too, right?
Yeah, that's true. We're going to do a live stream on Thanksgiving right at the bar, actually, and we're going to be probably just the three of us, me, Zach, and whoever,
do one on the
and
one day I
Chris,
missed.
Yes.
and whoever,
I will watch from my house.
There goes
And
my
who-
fucking perfect attendance. Thanks, Eric.
whoever wants to.
Oh, Cody, come
You
down.
can, hey, we all have choices to make, Cody.
Oh, sorry that I picked my family time
Yeah.
over this.
I'm gonna wear a mask of Cody.
Your,
Yeah,
your
do it,
family
dude.
had sex somewhere in the house.
I'll make
just
you one.
believe it
I will
that
dye
way.
my
No
hair
excuses.
beautiful.
So I saw something on thanks to Larissa, and giving her credit, I discovered Reddit a while back. We talked about this
amazing.
before, but there is some really funny stuff on there, and I want to give credit to this. There was a guy on Reddit that posted this, and Chris, you want to grab me
Grab me one too, Chris.
give me one of those Goose Island ones, those new ones.
You want to grope me too?
If they got any
just
donuts up there, I'll take those.
Gonads.
Donuts.
Oh, they said you want donuts with alcohol?
Fuck yeah, I want
much
donuts
sugar,
with
man.
everything.
They give you a
Yeah,
sugar.
I'm kind of there with you.
I can only do donuts in the morning.
I can't do donuts,
I
period.
can do donuts.
I can
anyway.
only do
Just
donuts
eat,
in the morning
I
too,
like
or
sweets.
the evening.
You don't like sweets at all? Really?
Not really. I like sour stuff. every
He
once in a
denies
while,
it
but
every
fun.
time.
I know.
Sweets?
I have
don't-
tried to
have ever
feed
seen
you
me
sweets.
Eat anything sweet?
No, that's what I'm saying. I have tried to feed you
Look,
sweets
not
many
sweet guy.
times.
That's not sweet.
It's a
I didn't
banana
get this.
split.
I didn't get this girlish figure from eating sweets. Okay.
I love how you started right here and kind of lingered for a
You
second.
know I did.
So, Chris is at the bar, so we're going to let him get back here. But I'm just bringing up the next little funny thing I thought about. When I die, this is from Reddit. When I die, I want a list of bugs that I ate when I was asleep.
Nice. I wish that life
let's
had
talk
stats
about
like
that
Grand
for a
Theft Auto
second.
did. Oh man, I'd love
Think
that.
about that out there that's watching, and as we talk about it. But think about, they say you swallow 8 whole spiders, at least 8 whole spiders throughout your life while you're sleeping. You think about all the other bugs that occasionally you find in your house. Sometimes there's a roach, sometimes there's, what are those? They're not silverfish. What are those ones with all the legs that live in Missouri?
Millipedes?
Yeah, something like that. No, not millipedes. No,
Centipedes?
millipedes are freaking.
Roly polies.
No. These
are
are like,
crustaceans.
you know what I'm talking about? They look like they
Yeah.
have feathery legs and they have like these long antennae. They're not dangerous, but they get in houses around spring and fall. Maybe somebody out
Earwigs.
there knows what
They're
they
a type of cricket, and they're horrible to be in your house.
Wait, they're
because,
crickets?
Talking
yes,
about spider
because
crickets?
they. Are you talking about the things that have the big back legs and they're black and brown?
No.
All right, start over.
Okay, they come in different varieties of length, but typically they're maybe half-inch long, maybe a little less than that, and they have a bunch of legs, that look like little feathers, and they have long antenna, and they literally just crawl on the
How
floor.
many legs do they have?
I haven't counted them, Link.
Well,
I mean they're like
Approximate that shit.
okay. I'd say a couple of hundred legs maybe. And it's not a millipede, it's not a centipede because those are very identifiable.
Well,
By the way,
No donuts.
welcome to Saker's Bar, Goose Island. Goose Island,
good stuff.
Is it? IPA.
Yes.
So we try to introduce new beers every once in a while.
Is that new?
That is new. Goose Island. We just got it in.
We had the SPF. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I disagree
Sunrock's
with you.
okay.
I think that is a form of centipede.
Okay, it may be. But if there's anybody out there that knows about
They
any
have
of
the
it,
little two little things coming out of their butt, like the two little I think I know what you're talking about.
it's hard to say because they're kind of a grayish color. They look scary. They scare the crap out of kids, but
It's
they're
a bug, and you kill it.
well. Actually, I don't like to kill bugs. I like to put them
I
outside.
do too. I hate
But
killing
we just found the spider, one of those little small wolf spiders with the kind of this
They're
thing.
sweet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, put them outside.
DeMadre said once he had a spider crawl in his ear while he was sleeping.
That's rough.
That's how they get stuck in there. I've seen that.
If
video.
any bug's gonna get in my house, it's gonna have to fight all the Asian beetles first. So it doesn't really matter.
Why's it got to be Asian?
Man, I can live with those little
they call 'em.
ladybug-looking things
Yep,
all over the
beetles.
place.
Yep.
Yes, I'm good with that.
So that's another one.
They don't crawl in my face.
Ladybugs, well, that you know of. When you're asleep, though, that stuff
I
happens.
definitely
when
woke
you're
up with
sleeping.
them crawling on me.
Yeah.
Dude, they're impossible.
Have you ever woken up,
All over the ceiling.
Chris? Have you ever woken up with a bug crawling on you?
Not that I recall.
That woke you up? Like I woke up with a wasp on my face one time, and made the mistake of slapping it, and stung me. And then I woke up with a spider on my hand.
I've had spiders and shit crawling on me.
Yeah.
I woke up with a burrito on my chest once.
I passed out.
It was half eaten.
I passed out
Crawled
Saturday
from the-
night. fully
crawled from the
clothed with my
freezer.
jacket on,
Somebody
my
half
food
ate
in my
it for
lap.
you.
Nice.
Welcome to Saturday nights for Cody.
Wait, don't you game on what nights you game?
Tonight.
Thursday nights is my
Thursday.
game night.
Oh, so you're gaming tonight?
No, it's every other week.
I thought you were doing the Pokemon.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah,
we're
it's every
gaming
week.
tonight.
Oh yeah, we're gaming tonight, but in a different way. It's not game night.
Gene.
Look at that person. Hello, person.
Originally, I had the camera pointed that way, and I'm like, oh no, that's the recipe for disaster. People
Oh,
in the
yeah.
background.
Yeah.
So
Hey, man. Good Morning America's done that for years.
I know, but they have like a barrier. They have
Yeah, but
people
after the
standing out
World
there.
Series, we're trying not to get tits on camera.
Why?
Wow, yeah.
Dude, I asked the same thing.
Well, because my kids, I'll be honest with you. Look,
That's
I
3 on
like
2.
I like breastises as much as the next guy. I'll be honest, but I don't want my kids. I have
Well, I
daughters.
think the comment there is not the breasts. It's that we would get something else on the camera.
I'm still
because
waiting
this is
for. I'm
downtown
still
game.
waiting for a
Yeah,
dude
genitalia.
to dong it out. I'm waiting for a dude to dong it
like
out.
Teen Wolf It?
Yeah, I'm waiting for a dude to just dong it out there on camera and just do the
Straight
do the
shirt
dance.
cock.
I would
Take
do
the leg
always.
slap.
I would take
Shirt
care of that, but this camera doesn't
Full
have
Winnie the
Zoom,
Pooh.
so
So
We do have a macro lens.
DeMardre said they're called house centipedes.
okay, that's a good one. We'll go with what he said because that's as close as I know.
who
so.
said that?
DeMardre.
He would know. He's smart.
So we think they're called house centipedes. So that's cool.
Someone called them cricket
Also,
spiders, and
been
I'm
a
also
long
for
time
it.
to Madre. Thanks
Cricket
for watching.
spiders are cool.
Spider crickets are a completely different thing.
He would be a good one to have on the show.
Those are the ones with the big back
spiny
legs.
looking crickets.
And they have the big back
Agreed.
legs.
Yeah.
Those are weird. Anyway, I thought myself. The reason I thought that was interesting and funny is I want. You know, they say when you die, you get the answers to a lot of things, right? So they say. So that's one of the questions now that I have in my mind. I want to figure out. I want a list. So maybe they have little video snippets I can watch when I die in my little afterlife.
It's very Black
video.
Mirror of you.
I know it is, but I want to. Which bear is best?
Bears.
Well,
The beats. Battlestar Galactica.
Michael.
Michael!
But I want
That
a.
is not a joke.
I
The
want
only thing that tops that for me is Asian Jim.
For sure.
that was really
I mean,
good.
good on you for not seeing race.
Good joke, Dwight. You were okay. Tell me about that sale you made the other day.
Welcome back to our office podcast here at Shakers.
Well, that's what
I
life
even
is,
like that
man.
show. That's a good series.
You don't like Office?
He said he really.
Not
What?
my thing. Not my thing.
You need to leave.
Yeah, go.
You're cut off.
Kill you.
Show yourself
me.
out.
Yeah, the door's over
Did you
there.
hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear the threat of love? He will molest me. Oh wait, you said kill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, I heard skull fuck.
He did
Same
say.
thing.
I just got him to admit he said he'd kill me.
I heard him say cuddle you so gently. But,
Cuddle me so gently. I will hold you against your will for struggle snuggles. Anyway,
cuddle
Fuck
with a
the shit
struggle.
out of you.
cuddle with struggle.
Hashtag things we can't say with women on the show.
Why can't
Cuddle
we?
with the struggle.
Why can't we? Some women like
Because
that.
I'm a big dumb idiot. That's why we can't say that.
Want to play the rape game? Nope.
That's the spirit.
That's the spirit. Wow. So as we move on, quickly,
Segue, quick.
you are watching Session stream live from Shaker's Bar downtown Cape.
Regina said the office sucks too. That's terrible.
Is that Regina Arnzen?
Yeah.
Regina, how dare you? I thought you had better taste than that.
High five, Regina. It doesn't suck, but
Go away. Just go.
We're kind of
Wait,
done
no,
here.
that's interesting. Okay, why does it suck, Regina? I want to know. Don't just say it sucks because you're trying to be contrarian. Why does it suck? I want to know because I haven't met too many people that think The Office
I want
sucks.
facts and sources too.
Yeah, don't be just throwing out it. I hate stuff about when Will Ferrell came in and filled in.
Dare you have an opinion on things?
You're not allowed an
I just want to
opinion.
know why you hate it. You say you don't like The Office or it's a sucky show. I just want to know why. It's interesting. Like, I'll be honest and tell you why I don't like Star Wars. I said that before. I don't like Star Wars.
You can leave too.
Nobody's nerfed.
No, nobody's nerfed.
Thank you for
Hold
making
up,
me
Ace
feel
Murphy.
better about the Office comment.
Yeah. Well,
All she has is nope. That was her response.
nope.
Tell us why.
You're not
Nope.
willing to defend your viewpoint.
She's not willing to defend the viewpoint at all.
I'm sure you've heard that from a
That's
woman
the reason
before.
you're not on the show anymore.
It's dumb.
You know,
as
that's
fuck.
close enough. I heard thus and show.
I'd love to have her back on the show, but if you want to defend the reason why you don't like a show,
Regina.
She said, "I have a brain."
you have a brain. Okay, well, it's great. Defend that.
Well, it's good for you. Good for you, Scarecrow.
I got a brain.
All right. So, she's not on the show, but she wants to be on the show because she's on the. We should have her back on here.
I agree.
She was pretty
Back
good.
on it. Was she on here? Was I here? Was
No,
No,
that
you
was
were
before
here.
you. She was
That's
actually
when
she
we
was
were
actually
over
pretty
there.
good. Regina was actually pretty good on the show.
Yes.
she was pretty strong on her opinions. Actually, I like anybody that, and she stood by what she believed in. So I got to give her credit for that for sure. But anyway, moving on with the next topic in the weird and the wily and the conspiracy genre, a beluga whale is believed to be a Russian spy.
Where did Alex Jones touch
Really
you?
reaching
So no, it
these
wasn't
days.
Alex Jones, dude. This was actually on like Washington Times.
I actually can believe it.
Yeah, it was actually on one of the major news sources. Now, typically, I'm not big on major news sources, but I did some research, and it actually is true that Russia has been known to strap cameras to the back of beluga whales, and the beluga whales would go into international waters, and they could video, other happenings.
That's the guy from Animal House, right?
Yeah.
Beluga whale? No.
Yeah, we're gonna have Jason Momoa interrogate him. Aquaman can talk to fish.
Talk to me. Anyway, so in the weird and the wily and the conspiracy world, Zach, any opinion on is that below Russia's spy technique to put a camera on a whale?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I know.
I think Putin really did it.
I think we're gonna call him Poo Poo from now on. Not Putin, but Poo Poo.
Well, I was trying to segue into like putting it into a beluga, but I couldn't find anything fast enough. So
You could have just straight up said it.
I mean, the takeaway: Putin fucks whales.
Okay, good. All right, cool. Cody?
Well, yeah. I
think it's
will
possible?
absolutely
Yeah.
believe Russians would do something like
I
that.
mean, we've
think
used
you-
dolphins.
Yeah.
We have?
Yeah.
The spy?
I'm pretty sure there's a video of a seal
I think
that
we
they've trained.
Really?
Yeah.
A seal?
Really?
Yeah.
I thought seals were pretty sales. I thought
Excuse
seals
me. Sea lions.
sea lions. I thought sea lions were pretty like territorial to one area.
Well, they migrate.
I mean, seals are they're good with tactics.
You got a food order there, it looks like.
You are simply the best.
Simply
better than all the rest. All the rest. I'm glad we all went there.
Better than all the rest.
You bring it up for the rest of the class?
Chris,
Actually,
have you heard of any other interesting spy stories from other countries?
just them dolphins.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, but I can definitely see that happening.
You guys remember the movie The Last Boy Scout?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis and
Damon
Damon
Wayans.
Wayans, yeah.
Remember the
Dance the
Steph,
jig on top of the.
But remember
thing
that
at
the
end?
dude
I love it.
pulls
What
out
would
the
Jimmy
gun
do?
and starts shooting football players in the game? That would be a great Super Bowl. I'm just saying. No more Patriots.
yeah, I
Just
could
give
go
one guy a gun. And you
That
don't know
would
who
blow
the guy
Janet
is.
Jackson away.
Seriously, like third or fourth quarter. Like let the like this year the halftime show is going to be awesome. It's Jennifer Lopez and somebody help me, Shakira. Yes, finally.
If there's ever going to be a wardrobe malfunction again.
Yeah, that was.
Dear God, help us now.
I need to see the meme, like the
I will
white cat
find my
going,
faith again.
White
Where's
cat. I'm not
Justin
watching
Timberlake when you
football.
need him?
I'm not watching football. I'm watching halftime show only.
Right?
Yeah. But that reminds me of, if there's anything that anybody could think of that was either made up or fiction, it's probably referenced somewhere in the world. Something happened. It's super interesting. You listen to Neil deGrasse.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, Tyson, thank you. The way he talks about life on other planets, and he actually talked about he thinks there is life on other planets. They just won't stop here because we're not smart enough yet.
Right.
Which makes a lot of sense.
said the same.
Yeah, Carl Sagan said the same thing. Yeah.
We can barely handle different colors. We couldn't handle another fucking species.
We're
Are
not
you
even
kidding me?
diverse. Like, we don't even handle diversity very well
Right.
sometimes. We're still teaching each other about diversity and how to accept other people. There's no way an alien race wants to
We
come
need
here.
to sit our entire nation down and show Remember the Titans.
A global world is great
I think that
I'm
that
on to
should.
something.
when
I
we're
think
ready for it.
I think I agree with you. I think Remember the Titans should be mandatory viewing in high school.
Pretty sure
Yes.
it was,
Yeah.
wasn't it? I've watched that like 9 times in high
It
school.
should be.
I watched it last night.
Well, you're
should
old
be.
just like we are.
Yeah, it's-
Don't
One of
watch
the greatest
Varsity
football
Blues.
movies of all time.
Don't watch
watched
Varsity
that.
Blues. Watch
Except for the
Remember
whipped
the
cream
Titans.
scene. That's great.
Not in high school. They already do that as it is. I'm surprised at the extent of things that people do in high school now. It's scary. So, so let's move on. We are talking about some interesting stuff tonight. We're talking about crime and punishment. So, as a segue into the topic of crime and punishment, before we get into it, we're going to talk about a little bit about the NFL. And since this was just a topic on one of the sports talk shows, I thought we'd bring it up. And Chris is a Dallas Cowboys fanatic, not just a fan, but a fanatic.
so sorry, Chris.
And he knows a lot
I
about
like how we're
the.
giving back to special needs.
He knows a lot about the team, a lot about their history. So I thought I'd bring this up. Ezekiel Elliott has been under the radar since he's been in, actually, his second or third year of college. But he's been under the radar. He's been in the spotlight, I should say, and it's for off the field adventures, we'll just say. Whether they're all true or not, you don't know. But we talked about this, and I wanted to bring this up and let you start the topic, Chris, because you're here. But you got a guy like Ezekiel Elliott, super talented guy. Was he at Ohio State? Where was he at?
Yeah, Ohio State. Yeah.
Okay, so he was at Ohio State. He played 2 years, right? Sophomore and went to
Went
NFL.
to high school here in Missouri.
Where'd he go in high school?
What, Rockhurst or something like that?
Rockhurst? Is
Yeah.
that around Kansas City?
Oh, St. Louis.
Rockhurst? Is that St. Louis? Is that up around Illinois? Like near the bridge?
I mean, St. Louis ain't too far.
I'm not
from
sure where
Illinois.
it is.
Oh, I know. I'm just trying to figure out where Rockhurst is. That where he went? Well, he'll look it up. Anyway, so for a minute, I want to talk about. So we're talking about crime and punishment, and obviously in this country we have two forms of punishment for people. We have the rich crime, rich criminal prosecution. We have the you don't have any money for an attorney prosecution. And go ahead.
There's John Burroughs in Ladue,
Okay,
Missouri.
so that's where Ezekiel went, and he was adopted, right? I think we talked about he was adopted by.
And if y'all don't know, if you're
His
watching
dad was
from
like a track star at Mizzou.
if you're watching from a remote place, Ladue is money.
Let's put it lightly.
Money.
It is
Straight money.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm thinking. I thought his dad was a track star, right? You said?
Yeah.
So he had some athleticism in his family. But the reason we're talking about this is, as we talk about crime and punishment, I want to bring this up to the table. We're going to start with Chris. I think there's a prevalence in the NFL, and the NBA's got it too, but the NFL is really under the spotlight for it because you got a prevalence of testosterone, male species in general.
Oh yeah.
Drugs, not just illegal drugs, but also performance-enhancing drugs and over-the-counter. Adrenaline and it's a toxic mix. So let's start there from that. First of all, what is your opinion on, first of all, PEDs and the prevalence of it in sports? And secondly, as far as Ezekiel Elliott goes, what do you know of it being true and not being true?
Well, me as a former athlete and peers. Well,
Now, where were you an
sports.
athlete at?
I went to played ball at Scott Central.
Scott Central?
Yeah.
Played basketball, right?
Yeah, and baseball.
Okay.
You want to keep the game as true and pure as you can, but me looking at it as a fan, I love to see 400-foot home runs.
Right. Right. You want to see the
So
good stuff.
it's a catch-22 on that.
Right. So, as we watch the sports and we watch, there's football on the TV tonight. We're watching these huge millionaires play a sport, right? And where does the line get drawn? And where do we start expecting more from our athletes? Athletes used to be they had morals and they guided us, or at least they acted that way. Then Charles Barkley came out. They had the Nike commercial, and Charles Barkley
I'm not
said,
a role
"Look,
model.
I'm not a role model. Don't follow me. I'm playing sports."
Man, that's terrible.
It's terrible. But the point there is do we put too much emphasis on sports in this country? And if we do, why?
It's one of our biggest cash crops.
Yeah, but it's more than just cash.
I don't think we do because they're the best of what they do.
Yeah.
But why is this country? And this country is
That is what America is.
It's about being part of something bigger than yourself.
But here's the thing: in this country, why is this country per se the biggest when it comes to the variety of sports? We have the most, even though hockey's from Canada and Russia revolutionized it, we're still the place that people want to win.
I mean, I think that's kind of just the American way, man. Look at anything. Look how many fast food chains we have. Look how many, we like variety. We like a lot of different things to choose from. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where we are.
We're the most competitive country in the world.
You can look at other,
we gotta be
the rest
best.
of the world, everybody is obsessed with football. Like, everybody loves football. Everybody has their football team. Everybody, it's
Now you're
what the
talking
world
about
does.
American football, not...
I'm talking about soccer.
Oh, soccer, yeah.
Like
Soccer
international
hooligans
football.
over in
Football.
in Europe. They take soccer
Like
more
way
serious.
Milan,
seriously
man.
than we could ever take any sport here.
Every
There's
team's
brawls
got their
and
group
shit.
of Raiders fans over there. Like they're gonna kick the
I don't
crap
think
out
New
of you in the
Zealand
parking
All
lot.
Blacks and
I don't
cricket,
think
too.
we're less. I don't think the rest of the world is less passionate about sports. I just think we have more of a variety of sports to be passionate about.
I think part of it has to do with our celebrity culture.
Oh, yeah.
And our
fact that-
economy.
Celebrity culture and the fact that we are the richest country in the world. We are a capitalist society, and anytime you have a capitalist society and you have athletes, you're going to, although soccer players are actually some of the most highly paid in the world.
Look at Ronaldo, dude.
But you're talking about, and here's the thing, you'll talk about, like, for example, playing for a country, so that country puts money behind and they get sponsorships. And you look at Ronaldo, you look at, I wear Ronaldo's body spray, man. The dude's a legend as far as, he's got merchandising now and all that stuff. When will there ever be a time, and I'll go to Link on this one, I've said for a while, why don't we just make PEDs legal and just let people play on them?
I mean, they're the ones. It's their body. They're the ones sacrificing.
Yeah,
You know, they talked about that on Futurama. Back before we made PEDs
you
legal.
love that show. Man,
love
you've
it.
referenced that show
That
several
show's the
times.
shit. If you've never watched it, watch it. It's awesome.
I've watched it. I don't know.
My thought is it's kind of anti-American. If there's something out there that makes you better, why don't you use it?
Better at the expense of others, because that's what some people think drugs
It's at
do
the
in
expense
general.
of their self.
Well,
I
no,
think
it's at the expense
because
of
there are
others, 'cause
downsides.
You've got people. No, there are downsides, but you're also
End up like Bob.
you're actually outperforming people that are trying hard to make it without drugs in their system.
And that's what I was about to say.
Well, and,
Yeah.
and therein lies the problem. I didn't say rub.
It's okay. It's
Didn't
still.
say rub.
It's there. It's there,
I
guys.
tried.
You
guys,
said
I
three
tried.
of the words. Therein lies. That's all it is.
And yes, there are multiple people in that experience, but they all have that same access to it, regardless of whether it's legal or not, or accepted or not.
Right.
They all have that same access to the thing that, okay, this powdered deer penis, if I put it under my tongue, is going to be. That was a good reference. You know that one. It's gonna make me bigger, stronger, faster, whatever it is.
Powder.
Gonna make you a
European.
Kanye song?
That's a Steven Seagal. What was the other guy in that? Damon Wayans.
Yes.
Yes.
What movie is that?
The Glimmer Man.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that movie. Steven Seagal sucks.
You need to watch it
anyway.
again if you haven't seen it. Go watch
Steven
that movie.
Seagal is a horrible person. He sucks. I don't. Anyway, but that's-
Agreed, but it's a great movie.
One of the worst Saturday Night Live guests ever, too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. If you want to see a terrible, you're right. I'm glad you brought that up. If you ever want to see a terrible Saturday Night Live gift, go on YouTube. Put in Steven Seagal Saturday Night Live. First of all, you can't find very many clips. You can't find many clips. But with the ones you can find, he's terrible.
Heinous.
He's horrible. So I think there's a catch-22 when it comes to our athletes, and why they have so much issue with things is you've got not only raised levels of testosterone, period, because to be that physical, you've got to have upper levels of testosterone. You've got to be kind of beastly. You got to have kind of a man, this kill or be killed attitude to go full speed at another grown man.
It makes me think of Little Giants when they all put those antacids in their
Alka-Seltzers.
mouth.
And let me see.
I
Let
use
me
these-
see a game face.
I use these for acid indigestion. What are you going to use it for? Intimidation.
Little kid blowing a bubble out his nose.
The annexation of Puerto Rico, though, great play.
Great play, yeah. John Madden. Anyway, and then you've got the fact that you've got large levels, and of course it goes with male, of adrenaline. There's a lot of push when you're playing, and then I think when you have an adrenaline dump, you try to take something to help stay up because you're keyed up for games, and I think that's where you have athletes that play far too long, and then all of that mixed together makes for
That shot
toxic,
of Brett Favre right there.
toxic mist. Yeah, well, that's true. But when you're off the field, and in this case we're talking about Ezekiel Elliott, and he has a lot of off-field trouble, or what's his name, Antonio Brown, prime example. I read a big article on Antonio Brown, and a lot of the lawsuits that's been filed against him, and it's all stuff that's off the field. You know, he's an angel on the field. He plays his butt off, and then he gets out the field. And he can't act right, and I think it has to do with the fact that you're first of all
Josh Gordon too.
I don't think people that are athletes now. I don't think it's so much for women because women have a longer progression. A lot of them stay in college longer. They finish school. Then if they go play professional sports, there's less opportunity for them. But when they play professional sports, I think they have a longer path there, so they mature better. Of course, women are more mature than men typically at younger ages. But then men stop growing emotionally when they play sports. The reason I say this is because all they know is sports. To get at that level in the NFL and to play at that that Alabama that high level in college.
I completely disagree with that. I think males. Well,
wait,
anybody,
do you really disagree with me? Because last week you were saying that, and you didn't really disagree with me, but you said you did. So let's. So you really disagree?
Here's
Okay,
my thing.
break it down.
When a male plays sports, there is an opportunity there for a bear. In that, okay, this is a testosterone thing, but there is also that sense of team, that sense of belonging, that sense of other people matter too, that sports can teach you. And that is really, really important. I think that comes down to coaching and not genetics.
I think that women are a little bit more understanding than men, though, and more emotionally acceptable.
Well, that's science.
I won't disagree with that.
I think the sportsmanship's a lot higher in women's sports than it is in men's.
Well, and I'll tell you, I love women's sports in general. I have 2 daughters, but at the same time, my wife played collegiate basketball, so I'm a huge fan of female sports. I honestly believe that there's more, and just from what I've seen, there's more passion and more drive in female sports. I think they try a lot harder. I think they feel like they want to perform. I mean, I'm not saying that men don't.
Sucks, but they have something to prove.
Well, it's almost like when you become a female athlete at a high level, or you take SEMO, for example. I like watching the women's team. Traditionally, I like watching them better than the guys. And my wife and I, my daughters have gone on the bus with the girls' team to other schools to watch them play and stuff. And I just their passion and Coach Patterson working with the girls and forming a team and forming a tradition. And then I was watching the guys go through all these travails and trying to figure out how to be a team. And I see what you're saying, that there's a good and a bad side to sports. And the good side is you learn camaraderie, you learn teamwork, how to work with people, and
It's a brotherhood.
yeah, how to get things done. But
And you learn how to fail.
But in learning how to fail, do you do you feel like learning how to fail that you're taught? If you have proper coaching, do you think you're taught how to handle that? Do you think that transfers to regular life? Well, you're a high
There's
school
a
athlete.
quote.
Absolutely.
There's a quote that I come back to in my life an awful lot, and that it is possible to make no mistakes and still lose. That is not a flaw. That is life.
It's true.
And being gracious in victory and gracious in defeat.
Yes, absolutely.
So
those are all things that you should learn from team sports.
So why do you think there's so many more men in sports, college and professional, that have problems with the law than there is women?
Egos.
Because they're taught that that's the only thing that's important.
What?
Winning, being there,
What
dominating.
does winning have to do with getting arrested? Because the Dallas Cowboys aren't winning all the time and they get arrested.
Because they take that.
Taking all shots at me right
They
now.
take that specific thing and generalize it to their personal life.
I think a
Why
lot
don't
it's kinda
women
like
do that then?
A toxic confidence you get from thinking you're the shit.
That's what I was.
That's
looking
also
for.
important. Yeah.
Well, no, I want you to clarify, because I'm kind of confused. If it was about winning, if it was about that attitude and that drive, then why didn't the women's Gold Cup soccer team go out and just start committing a bunch of crime if it's about winning and keeping that drive going? Because they didn't.
No, they didn't.
They just went home and lived their lives and went on the interview circuit and had a bunch of pictures taken and did a Wheaties box and all kinds of cool stuff.
But they also got in front of the camera and dropped the flag and danced on it
it has
because
nothing to do with the law, though.
No, it doesn't.
You
But
know,
that
my
has to do
favorite
with their
female athlete's
personal
on a Wheaties
sentiments,
box.
and they thought that was what brought them there. That's not what brought them there. What
the
brought
next
them
thing you say
there
is not
was
gonna
that
be
they were
something
the
I'm fond of.
epitome of physical evidence.
I think kind of off the. We're talking about the criminal aspect of sports.
It's Caitlyn.
Well, that's what you're talking about, but that's not the question you asked.
That is the question I asked. You said I asked you why are men usually involved with the law more than women when it comes to sports, and then you started talking about.
Well, no, that has nothing to do with sports.
But that was the question I asked, though. To be clear, the question was if it was about winning, if it was you keep that drive going and winning is what you said. Then if it's about that, then I said why is it that men have so much more problem with when it comes to the criminal aspect of life than women athletes do. You don't hear about WNBA players going out and
There's been
shooting people
not shooting, but there's been a few incidents of Brittany Griner had that domestic violence thing against her wife.
Name me another one.
There's not many.
I don't really follow.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
WNBA,
No, you don't follow them because it's not prevalent. In male sports, it is prevalent. You've got a lot of people. So my thing is, I think what Cody said is exactly what it is. I think you've got that toxicity of a combination of several things mixed together. And when you get out in public, if you've got to keep you have this feeling like I'm the best,
or that you're untouchable because of your position.
right? And you can see that.
I can't disagree with that.
And you can see that when you see like videos, like who's the guy that recently got arrested? It was on video.
Tyreek Hill,
Yes.
where he kicked the girl in the hallway.
Yeah. And then there was a guy that got pulled out of his car and got arrested on the street. It wasn't Pac-Man Jones, it was somebody else. But you see this prevalence
Kareem
of
Hunt was the one.
Kareem Hunt, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You
Tyreek
see,
Hill he had a thing too, though, didn't he?
It was
Domestic about his wife tried to like
something about
entrap
his
him with
kid or something, yeah.
You
Told him
see
to
this-
punch him in the chest or something like that.
you see this prevalence of and then what's his name? Peterson had the same
Peterson.
thing. He spanked his kid and they made
with a
a big deal of
switch.
it.
Shit.
I got
Conor
that as a
McGregor,
kid.
guys, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point is and it goes to what Cody says. We're talking about crime and punishment. is you have this feeling of superiority, and anytime, and that has to do with people that are wealthy too. You have a feeling of superiority, so you take massive wealth and sports ability, and you're kind of above. You feel like you're above the crowd anyway. So you got this Prince Pauper feel where you think you're here and everybody else is here. You may not deliver yourself that way because there's guys like J.J. Watts that aren't like that. They're very decent guys. So there are some very good exceptions to the rule. But I want to analyze the fact that you got a talent like Ezekiel Elliott, who if he stayed in the NFL and could keep his nose clean, he'd probably be Hall of Fame. But I'm not sure if he's going to make it, and that's a shame too. And what I want to know is for many of you guys that watch sports, there's certain teams in the NFL that have a prevalence of problems. You don't hear much about certain teams. Just give me a team that you don't hear much about as far as crime. Titans, you don't hear a whole lot. There hasn't been one.
Tampa.
I'm sure they have stuff. I know.
Basically, we're going to start naming the people that don't have the money to pay for the really good athletes who are going. That's going to kind of come along.
You've only had a couple in New England. You've only had a couple of.
I'm not
athletes
saying they
in
don't
New
have
England.
some. I'm saying like they don't have the budget.
I mean,
that
I got
higher
a pound of
teams
crab
do.
legs that says you're wrong.
If you take the Patriots or the Steelers or any Green Bay, any of the higher pay,
Green
or the
Bay's a
higher
good one. Green Bay's a good
any
one.
of the higher salary caps,
Yeah.
then they're going to be able to pay for these people
Well,
that are really good.
you think
in that
of-
sense,
But
and that kind of comes along with
At the same time,
You think about the teams that are going to hire those people, and you think about the Bengals right away, and look where they're at. You think about the old Raiders, and they took a coaching change and a culture change to change that.
I mean, the Bengals at one time had Pac-Man Jones and Vontez Burfict on the same roster.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jesus.
Yeah, so let's get into our main topic. You're watching Session Stream Live from Shakers, downtown Cape, and we're here every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m., and we're super glad that you guys have stopped by and are watching. When is Carrie moving here?
Not soon enough.
That's what I was
Okay.
going to say.
Well, we're hoping. I've been saying this since we started the show, and I'll say it again. We want to have females on the show, especially females with expertise in certain fields. I think next show we're going to talk about some mental health issues again. I think we're going to bring that back up. That was an important show that we did.
It's important. and we did
Talked
good on
about-
that last.
Talked
Yeah.
about a wide variety of things, but I think we're going to center in on a couple things and really delve into those more deeply. So we're going to do that here in probably a show or two. But we're going to talk about crime and punishment now. We have a lawyer on the panel here at the table. Matt has been involved in not only prosecution of law, but defensive law, and then also as a cop, and worked with the prison system, and worked with probation, parole, a lot of levels. So we've got someone that basically is an expert in the field. So that's where we can keep ourselves straight as far as the legalities of things. The reason I want to talk about this is that in this society, in this country, we have a prevalence of arrests. We have the largest prison population in the world in this country. And as we talk about this moving forward, we have to keep in mind, there's a lot of reasons that people get arrested, and we're going to get into some of that. But the main reason is we're going to talk about the crime and the punishment lined up with the crime. Now, first thing I want to talk about is what crimes there are, basic ones, and then we're going to talk about ones that shouldn't be crimes and what the punishments are. So let's start with the ones that we know are crimes. We've got the murder, we've got the rape, we've got the assault, we've got bribery, we've got extortion, burglary, we've got the big basics, right? Then you've got the smaller ones, you've got the domestic abuse, which that can be a felony or a misdemeanor depending on what happens.
Assault.
Battery, assault and battery. You've got several different major crimes, and then you've got prosecution that goes along with it. Now, I've said for years, being a victim of child abuse and molestation, I've said for years that child molestation and pedophilia, not pedophilia itself, because pedophilia is not a crime, it's a description of someone. I found this out. Pedophilia is not actually a prosecuted crime, it's a description of a
heinous act.
It's a description of someone's proclivity towards children. They have an attraction towards an unnatural attraction towards children.
Until you act on it, it's not legal.
Right. But there are places in this world in this society where people have identified the fact that they are pedophiles. They are pedophiles, and
I'm in on this.
The Clintons.
Don't say it. We'll be Epstein.
No, I'm not worried about that. They don't kill. I don't have enough.
Caleb, I'm sorry to hear about your suicide tomorrow.
Caleb Fisher got suicided tomorrow. Telling the future, but let's talk about that for a minute. So let's talk with Lank. Matt Lawler is right now he's an assistant prosecuting attorney in Scott County, right?
Yes.
So you see cases come across your table, many types of cases, drug cases, murder, and anything you think of. In your opinion, are there any crimes that you've prosecuted or that you've been involved with where the punishment does not fit the crime?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I get a lot of misdemeanor possession and paraphernalia charges. So somebody gets pulled over and they have, a little smoking pipe with a little residue of weed in it. Mm-hmm. We're trending in this state towards legalization of marijuana.
Right.
And regardless of what I think about that, which I think
what do you think about
I think
that?
it should be legal.
Do you think it should be legal because of from your professional standpoint, or just in general as a human being?
Both.
Okay.
I don't see it personally.
Now, right? Or
Personally,
it's
I don't see it any more
It's just a
damaging.
ticket,
Personally,
isn't it?
I see it less
Yeah.
damaging than this.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, there's a lot of you're right. There's a lot of evidence for that.
And right now, it's still a crime, and we still prosecute it to an extent. And I will say that it's a disconnect for me. I don't really know what I want to do with that. If somebody wants to plead guilty to it and take a fine or an SIS, I don't want to screw up their life for it, and I won't.
So let me ask you this, because I've always wanted this as a prosecutor. How often do you feel emotional about prosecution?
A lot.
Sometimes you go to prosecute someone and you feel like maybe...
Probably more than I should.
Yeah. That's interesting. You think about that is a lot of people, and you can speak to that, the emotional side of it is, people think that prosecutors are just doing their job and they're just, they're following the law, and which most of them are, but they forget about the fact that prosecutors are human beings, and prosecutors have feelings and families, and they've had family members that have been involved with the law and had trouble.
And you can say you can disconnect from that all day, but you still are a person. You're still going to have feelings on something. And
Yeah.
I know you're supposed to keep those separate, but sometimes that's hard.
It's really hard because I see that person out there that's on probation for a felony and they got caught smoking a little weed. And yes, that is against the law. And yes, we prosecute that. But you know what? If you're on probation and you're doing the best you can, let's say that when you got on probation, you got your kids taken away from you, you didn't have a home, and all of a sudden now you've gotten out of the shelter, you've got your own place, you're getting your kids back. I'm not going to come down on you for that. I want you to succeed. I want you to go forward and say, you know what, that was me. This is me now.
But aren't you But you're kind of under a pressure of mandate though, also, because if somebody gets arrested, aren't you? Because you have a county prosecutor.
I will charge it as
Okay.
per my boss.
Right.
And she says you will treat each case individually.
Okay.
If there is a reason to let this person out of it, we're going to do that.
Okay. Good.
Because
Well, that's
because
good.
every person is different, every situation is different. You know what? If you've been smoking weed your whole life and you're a bum, we're probably going to come down on you a little bit. But if you've been smoking weed your whole life and you're trying and you're doing the things that are positive in the world, you're making a contribution, we're going to let you out of it.
Because
you should.
You see this a lot, I'm sure, but do you notice that a lot of times once you've been down, it's easy to stay down because it seems like society kind of
Absolutely.
keeps the spotlight on you, and also every time you turn around, you think you've got run-ins with law enforcement, and anytime you try, like you said, you can
And there are those people that have 5 felonies and they're on probation for 2 of them,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they've got an A misdemeanor. Oh, I got caught with 4 grams of weed.
right.
You're not trying to sell it. You're not trying to send it out in the community and make it worse. You were just trying to deal with what you had. You're doing it the wrong way, but if you're trying to fix it, man,
So
I'm letting that go every time.
In your opinion, a lot of the prosecutorial sentences that are handed out to drug addicts or people in violating drug laws, I'm not going to say a lot of them, but some of them don't meet what they need to. Like they need to be evaluated and listened.
I'm going to be real honest with you, and especially in Scott County where I'm at, we have a problem with drugs. We, especially meth. It's pervasive. It's widespread.
There was a point in time when Scott City was the meth capital of the United States.
And as was Jefferson County where I was before this. It is a real problem. It ruins personal lives. It ruins people touching them's lives. It is horrible, and I don't know how to fix it. Until we can make it so it's not profitable to sell drugs to other people, it's not going away.
Do you think if we look more at the person that is the drug user as a victim, and we treated them as a victim? Because here's the thing, not everyone is a victim, but if we looked at the mentality and the what happens to people when they become drug addicts, it's considered a disease. So if we started looking them as treatment as opposed to criminals,
Yes.
I mean, my thing is the war on drugs was a stupid. I know what they meant to happen.
And I have that a lot. I have people come in, you know, they've had past drug charges, they're on probation for it, and they go commit a burglary because they're trying to steal stuff to buy more drugs. These people need help. They need treatment. They need oversight. They do not need to go to prison for a 7-year sentence and serve 3 months and come back out. It's not helping them.
No, it's not helping them. It makes it worse because you get in there. Oh, blue lights.
That's fire truck.
Yay!
I just don't understand how people think that if you're struggling with something like addiction, how throwing them to the system is going to help.
That is a hot
anything.
shot. I wonder if it's that girl that has seizures.
She's really good at.
We didn't start the fire this time.
Yeah. But so my personal opinion as far as when it comes to drug arrest and drug convictions, we need to look at the pervasive underlying factors. Like you said, evaluate the person's life. Maybe that person's never had any advantages. Maybe this is their escape from their problems. And
I see a lot of those folks that have, you know what, they're a person who needs a mental health assessment.
right. And
They're a person who needs an addiction scale.
And I agree. I think, and maybe you would agree with this, and you guys can jump in anytime. But I think when you're in drug court, when you're being prosecuted, or you're in drug court, whatever it may be, there needs to be a psychologist or a mental health professional in the room.
And by and large, what drug court is, it gets that. We send people to probation, and they're just on probation. There is an actual drug court that, you have to come before a judge. You have to go through these UAs, random, within an hour of getting a text, okay, I need to come and pee in a cup.
Right.
And those are very different things. And these entities, the drug court, the probation and parole, can say, you know what, you're not responding, not because you're addicted, but because of the answers you're giving me aren't coherent with what we consider normal. you need to go have a mental health assessment. You need to go follow whatever counseling they recommend, and maybe you're not a candidate for going to prison if you're revoked. Maybe you're a candidate for a long-term treatment program, an institutionalized treatment program, 120 shock, those kind of things. There are a lot of options, and they're getting better for that. But PNP still doesn't have a dedicated person that says, you know what, I can assess you mentally. This is what we need, and we're getting there, but it's a process.
So, Chris, you're in mental health. You work with in your regular job.
Mentally handicapped.
Yeah, mentally handicapped. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So, do you ever see any prosecutorial, in your line of work? Do you ever see any of your clients or patients having a problem with the law?
No, not really in what I do, but there's some that have had issues with the
Why
law.
don't you say what you do, what it is that you do? If you don't
I do in-home services. I go to their house, make sure they have their meds, make sure they get to appointments that they need to be at, make sure they're fed and stuff like that. And I think one of the things around here that really hinder this and hinder the drug use is this area does not have a strong recovery network.
No,
That's true.
they have resources.
But
But there's only one NA meeting in this area a week.
Isn't that
Poor Bengals.
Isn't that like kind of a big problem in towns like this size and smaller where, you go to Chaffee or Scott City, there's no treatment. You got to go to a bigger, and you can't go to Cape, there's nothing in Cape.
There are so
they put you in the hospital.
So many inpatient programs. There's Shepherd's Fold, there's John 3:16. If you don't believe in God, you're even farther disconnected from that.
Well, but
One of the big steps in recovery is finding a higher power.
Yeah.
right, well, because you need a way to take your healing and give it to something else. It's hard when you can't heal yourself. You've been trying to do it yourself. So I know when I was a cop, there were several times when I pulled people over and a search of a vehicle found marijuana, found
Grab me one.
found
Whiskey Coke.
Yeah.
found marijuana or a baggie of I was told not to call it dope.
Not dope anymore.
Yeah, don't call it dope.
Due to your training and experience, a substance that you believe to be marijuana.
Yeah, had the appearance and smell of marijuana. But I've thrown it out on the ground before. I've told him to give me the bag and thrown it on the ground because I was going to, 18 or 19-year-old kid, I was going to ruin his life. Now, I knew that he probably was going to just go get another baggie and start up, but I didn't want to be the reason that he decided, well, screw the world, I'm just going to go on, because as I've smoked marijuana before in my life, in my history, and I did it to self-medicate. I did it for fun. I did it for just many reasons, but I didn't do it enough to be, I felt like if I had been stopped and I had it on me and I got, prosecuted for it, I would have felt like it was out of line because I was recreational at best. Right. And so I think when it comes to drugs and prosecution and things like that, we have to be more focused. Now, that leads us into the crime and punishment section of robbery and burglary. And the reason I bring that into it is the robbery and burglary suspects, and I'm going to go to Zach first.
Thank you, sir.
There are people out there that claim that they do some of these crimes because they're supporting their families, and more that's sometimes they say that. So where does the line get drawn? Because in society, you can make it okay to be criminal if the need arises. So in other words, if say we had a blackout, for example, say we had a nationwide blackout and our infrastructure got knocked out and we couldn't go to the store and we couldn't, water wasn't working. So people would have to take care of their families. Wouldn't you go to the end of the world to if you had loved ones around you to keep them safe?
Absolutely.
So in that case, in that situation, you may have to take something somebody else owns to support yourself, to make sure you're okay. So in your opinion, good Lord, how many cops?
Sorry, I keep trying to look at you. I can't because it's too bright there.
Well, no, I'm just saying, how many police do you need for somebody that's hurt? Because you get a shooting over here and you get one person.
Maybe a fight.
And that's
or
like
shooting.
12 minutes late.
Well, they pulled the gurney out of the ambulance, so,
So somebody's down.
So here's I have a warped view on a lot of stuff, but
Wait a minute.
Sure
drop
not.
dropping
the first
bombs
time-
on you
The whole
guys.
point of the show.
The whole point of the show.
Yeah,
I I didn't even say it at that time, but I like that you guys are taking it on.
So, here's the thing. I have stolen to keep myself going before. I considered it a necessity. I had $0 in the bank.
Jean Valjean, man.
Wait, did you ever steal?
stole
did you
a
ever
loaf
steal-
of bread.
Did you ever steal just to steal?
No.
I did that.
See,
A lot of other people have too, man.
Yeah, I did that when I was
I
stupid.
didn't steal just to steal. When I was homeless down here, and I was homeless down here for a good amount of time,
Wait, here in this area?
I lived on the streets in Cape Girardeau 10 years
How
ago.
did that happen? How did you become homeless?
I've actually been homeless since I was 15.
Okay.
I was
So is that when did you come out of state care at 15?
No, I came out of state care prior to that, but at
okay.
15, my biological
Hang on a
father.
minute, I gotta
and-
watch this drunk girl that's been at Hot Shots since 6:30 back up by these cops. Because this is comical.
Well, they're not paying attention to her. They're not
Send
paying
it.
attention to her.
She was drinking for an hour before I got there, I guarantee it.
You were straight up snitching on a girl right now.
About to just
Well,
yeet it
the
into the
cops can't
intersection.
hear
Straight up snitching.
Right.
Send it.
She's in the
I
other
didn't
lane
call him.
right
Oh, here's
I
this
didn't call him. Be
person.
like, hey, we got a
Actually tried to
1050 in
go that
progress.
way.
And for some reason, you thought you could go straight.
Oh no, she's
He's
backing
on it.
up. She's backing up. No jokes about female drivers right now, even though we really want to.
Oh, she's trying.
Oh, she's
She is. Jay got it on camera. Good job, Jay.
send it.
We're all about
Just
the coverage.
Send
It's
it.
like big bay windows.
send.
Right.
All right. So
So anyway, like I was saying, when I was 15, my mother passed away. My dad went and did his thing. I stayed and did my thing. My high school deemed me as a homeless youth, which instantly emancipated me in the state of Missouri.
okay.
I had no house, so I lived in. At one point, I lived in a friend's closet. I lived on a friend's sofa, and I bounced around.
Harry Potter, huh?
Yeah, no, like ultimately, dude, I'm straight up Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
I'm a what? But
You're a wizard, Harry. Wizard.
so, but after high school, I went to college. I did the college thing, and then I had nowhere to go when college isn't in session. So I lived on the streets. I didn't have anywhere.
I want to hug you right now.
Don't do that, bro. Don't.
I will hug you, damn it.
So
Let him love you.
I was down here. I had no
Pass this to
food.
Zach. There you go.
I have family here in this city, and my own family ended up telling me if we help you, it won't teach you anything.
See, that's the time when in that situation, that's when you help people. That's not.
And there are situations
Tough love.
that's okay.
Sure.
Not
if you,
that
listen,
one.
if you had been a little shithead and you had been
Sure.
living, but you're just trying to live.
Exactly.
That's not when you have tough love. I'm sorry.
So I ended up stealing food to keep myself going, and it got to a point where the manager of the store ended up noticing that I'd come in at a certain time. It's
Busy.
Yep. I would steal 3 things. I would steal a loaf of bread, pack of salami.
Please, sir.
Things you could keep and keep you alive.
Yep.
And salami, man, it lasts forever.
Salami lasts forever, doesn't have to be refrigerated.
Uh-huh.
And then I would steal a hard cheese. Hard cheese doesn't have to be refrigerated. Did I need the cheese? No, but it goes great with salami. You know?
Don't get it while you're doing it. Right?
If I'm stealing, I'm stealing, you know?
Yeah.
And then it got to a point, and like the thing about me is I'm also a creature of habit. Also, a fun fact, I sit in the same seat every time I'm here. But
Except
like,
tonight.
Except tonight. You notice that?
yeah, no,
I
it's
switched up everybody. You're welcome.
bothersome.
Switch it up.
Cody needed to see.
This is where
But-
the Steelers set up.
When I went
Zach's
to
always to my right.
Yeah, no, but typically you're on the other
Yeah.
side of the table.
Oh yeah, but it's still the setup's still the same. We're just on the other side of the table.
Mirror.
Yeah.
But like when one time after a couple weeks of stealing here, I ended up going and I always grab the same loaf of bread. This
Do you
time,
remember what kind you used to grab?
just white bread, the 99-cent cheap ass white bread.
White bread.
Yeah, specifically white bread. And I don't
That
want
bleached flour, you know.
yeah, I don't want no dark wheat. I want that.
Enriched.
I want that white bread.
Yeah, why is it the dark's always enriched?
White bread's enriched too.
It's enriched with whiteness, with flour and
It's now privileged bread.
You
privilege.
sound like a liberal, man.
White
Rubbing
bread's
off on hard,
with
Matt.
privilege. Damn it, Cody, get off of me.
First time I haven't been to Canada,
You
y'all.
guys actually don't know
Yeah,
that
I-
the whole time we're sitting at the table. I just
Switzerland.
whisper liberal shit in Eric's ear the whole
It's
time.
just subliminal, man. Like in my drink, she drops the liberal pills in my drinks. I'm like privilege.
But the last time I did, I grabbed the bread. Everything was already right there with the note that says, "You don't have to steal. If you're hungry, I'll feed you."
Oh,
It was humiliating and humbling
The
all
store
in one.
manager?
Yeah.
Props to that store owner.
Yeah.
wow, yeah, cool.
It was a manager there. Cool cat. I wish
Will
I
you call out the store?
I currently hate the store, but yeah, it was
yeah.
Schnucks.
Don't say names. Don't say
I know
names.
who it was.
And
say
I
names of
understand why they
stores.
did that.
And I mean, I'm super appreciative. I've never actually been able to tell the cat thanks, but there was always it kept me going.
He's no longer here.
I know him, and I will tell him.
No, he's no longer here. I know who he's talking about. This was back before. This is back when Dennis Marchie still had it. That's who it was.
Oh, okay.
Dennis Marchie was that kind of a guy.
Okay.
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
He probably
the next
knew.
guy was also, but he wasn't
Well, no,
as
it's
vocal
John
about it.
Townsend is the guy now. That's the guy that got it after
No,
Dennis.
I'm talking. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the second.
And I mean, like,
about the murder.
regardless, I was super thankful. It kept me going, and it showed that there's still that ounce of humanity. I have no problem stealing to keep myself going and to keep my family going. But I will not just steal for the sake of stealing.
You're also the kind of person that will pay that forward.
Oh, hands down.
So
I think that matters.
Does a wrong make a right though?
Not necessarily.
So if you pay it forward, and here's the thing, I spent my life from the time I was young trying to make up for things that I did when I was young.
Yeah,
mistakes
no,
I made.
I've been trying to buy my way into heaven.
And I think, and we all in a way, and unfortunately, if anybody's a Christian, we're kind of taught that we have to do good deeds and do good things to kind of stay in the good graces
Right.
of things. But my thing is I think we're all on this journey of nobody's perfect. We're all just trying to live and be the best we can. And I think, when the things that I did steal when I was a kid and the lies that I told, it was all for personal reasons, all selfishness, and it was not like what you were doing that to keep yourself alive. I didn't have any money, but it wasn't like my mom didn't feed me, and I wasn't homeless. I had a place to live, and so, in your situation, I can see, and that's exactly what the reason I'm asking is, if you had been prosecuted, if you'd been arrested and prosecuted, I wouldn't have been for the prosecution because of the situation.
But I would
That's
understand
Go
how
ahead.
it turned out. I still did a crime.
Yeah.
If they had
No,
they had to throw a quote unquote throw the book at me to make an example, I understand.
Cody's talked about this before, though. We talk about the morals of things
Yeah.
and the ethics of things, and what's right and what's wrong. Now, morals are kind of how we treat each other. Sometimes those morals and crime and what we're supposed to do and what we don't do all bleed together. And in case of, you've got some people that are sitting in jail right now that they're just trying to do the right thing, and they get caught up in some BS or whatever. And I know, like Matt talked about it, where you see cases come across your desk and you're like, oh man, and then you talk to people involved and you're like, I do not want to prosecute this case. This is not, I see what's going on here, and this is, especially like I'm sure with domestic violence, there's sometimes that you see men or women for that matter that you see the evidence, what's there, but you're being basically pushed because your job is to represent the people of Scott County.
I admittedly don't do a lot of DV cases. That's somebody else's job.
Those are so hard, right? I mean,
She's fantastic at it. Tabitha Blakely. She does.
yeah, I will say in all of the prosecutorial things that I ever had to deal with as a cop, when I went to court and had to sit and answer questions, domestic violence is always one of the hardest because not only you're talking about interpersonal relationships inside of a house.
People have moments of weakness.
Yeah, exactly. And if any man alive has never thought about a domestic violence incident, meaning I want to just choke the crap out of somebody,
And
it happens.
as a prosecutor, you have to look at it from the victim standpoint.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where
And that's hard. That's
when you
really
do the,
hard.
when you do the punishment crime, because I can't really think of who the name is, but there's a female commentator out there that talks about this stuff a lot. She talks about how men are to blame. She talks about how men get blamed for everything, even though she knows for a fact that women push a lot of buttons and cause a lot of it. That men always get the brunt of it because they're bigger and they're more physical, and they're quite often they are the aggressors. And in society, we've been taught that men are the the rapists and the aggressors, and women are the victims. Well.
mean, not all of it was taught. Some of it's example. Like,
Well, no,
you can't
it-
say that that's not a
no,
an
well,
actual
and
fact.
Society
that's the
and-
tightrope that you walk
Right.
is when does that person cross that line as okay, the other person has been the aggressor, but they took it too far.
Well-
and it's got to be a case by case basis. You can't look at it by gender or by sex. You have to look at each case is facts.
But
it's hard. It's hard.
Many would argue that we have the best justice system in the world, but there's other people that believe we don't. You've been part of it.
There are times that our justice system has failed.
And we're based off of the old English type of justice system with judges and juries. And the problem is I think that our justice system, and this has nothing to do with you as a prosecutor, but a lot of it has to do with money. And I will say when there's the financials involved. For example, we talk about athletes who are privileged and have all this money. We saw what happened with Bill Cosby. He tried to buy his way out of trouble. We saw what happened with Michael Jackson. We saw what happened with O.J. Simpson. We saw what happens with athletes and guys like Ben Roethlisberger and
This state
Kobe
is
Bryant.
a great example. If you have a D felony, you're facing up to 7 years in the Department of Corrections or a $10,000 fine or some combination of that.
Right.
So what if some rich person comes out here and commits a D felony and all of a sudden they're like, oh, $10,000 fine. Well, that fits.
Well,
But is it fair?
And that's the thing. And here's the thing is too, and people can say what they want. You've seen this firsthand. Judges get elected. Elections cost money. Now, I'm not saying judges are going out saying, "Hey, give me this money and I'll let you off this charge."
And they can't.
They
in this
can't do
state.
that. It's against the law. But I will tell you that if I'm a judge sitting on a bench and I see a person across from me that I know that person's father's in my Rotary Club, or I play golf with that, I've played golf with him, and he's donated money to the state and to my campaign, I'm going to have it because he's a human being.
The good
And I
old,
like
that's
to
a, that's
pretend
a
that
good old
doesn't
boy.
happen. And it doesn't happen around here by and large. I know all these judges and they're all good people and they won't do that.
Happened
but
a lot in Jeff County.
There are judges of other places
Jeff
that do
Coe.
that, and I won't say Jeff Coe either, but that's just because
you hear-
I know all of them and I won't say
You're
anything.
fine.
You hear about it all the time, and you hear about it all the time in poor parts of the world. In other words, the poor folks like in East St. Louis and places that don't have a lot of money. That is why you see a predominance of minorities in prison. Is traditionally the minorities that have been arrested and been prosecuted come from neighborhoods that have no money. They have no backup. They have no support. And so basically these guys are left on their own.
And as a prosecutor, you should and can consider that, but some of them don't.
So in law school, I'm just ask you this: did you have a class or training or anything, education on the background of the individual that you were prosecuting, like, or that you looked at as far
No,
as?
that came through my personal experience.
Okay.
And-
So in law school, they don't really teach you about the person as.
Oh, they try to, but they do it in that more liberal way of, oh, you have to take this person, this person's race into consideration, and I think you have to take their culture into consideration, but not their race. I think there's a difference there.
Okay, yeah,
Does that make
I give
sense?
you that. I give you that because you could be a white guy from a black neighborhood, a black guy from a white neighborhood, and I think you have to consider that. And I get that. So it's not really race; it's culture. It's how you grow up, what you grow up around. If you grow up,
Socioeconomic status.
And
Yeah.
again, it's the facts of the individual case.
Right.
If you're not doing that as a prosecutor, you're not doing your job.
so
Which is why I'm happy where I'm at, because my boss does that. And I'm happy there because of it. I would be miserable if that didn't happen.
I honestly think that our justice system is set up in a way and designed in a way to be a really good justice system. I'm not saying there's not exceptions where people do shady shit, but for the most part, our justice system is designed to make sure that people get either what they deserve or let off if they don't deserve it. I think our problem is our punishment system is absolute shit. The fact that all of our prisons are privatized, the fact all of our correctional facilities, things like that, is all
And in
designed
this
to
state, none of them are
monetarily.
privatized.
They're
They're
all
not
designed.
privatized.
Well, I mean,
And there's
some
only
of them
one
are.
left in Illinois, too.
there's none in Missouri that are privatized. They're all owned
But,
by.
but
Tri-County and
I'm not just
Southern
necessarily
Illinois is
talking
the
about
only
right
one
now,
around
but
here.
we also got to
No.
talk about the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years where they were, and that's completely, people got in the system and couldn't get out.
There's a reason it changed.
Exactly.
And you're right.
I think privatization of prisons is a natural evolution in any society. It's a business. When you got people, it's money. So,
but should a business be in control over the fate of somebody? That's kind of shitty.
I know that's stuff they talk about all the time, and sometimes private prisons are better than the government-ran prisons. There's some places where you've got some minimum security prisons, some federal prisons that are privatized that actually are better than some of the federal prisons, but. That's a good point. That comes down to money too. I mean, if you got money, you can stay in certain prisons. I mean, if you look at where Martha Stewart went to prison, and when she did her 2.5, 3 years in prison, it was nothing compared to somebody else that would have had similar crimes because she was.
And
but I'd love to see her.
Look at the labor they get off of.
Well, that was white collar crime, not blue collar crime.
You're paying somebody cents. It's basically almost slavery. You're paying somebody cents on a dollar to do work that would be vastly lower than minimum wage.
There's
and
a
you're making
reason
money off
that
of it.
Missouri said we've got to stop putting people in
Right.
prison for court costs.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How you gonna get the money out of them if they can't go to work?
Well, it's the same way I feel about seatbelt tickets. I got a seatbelt ticket the other day from a highway patrolman who stopped me because my front license plate got ripped off my car because I own a bar.
Hashtag legal advice is $10, no court costs, pay the damn ticket.
Oh, I'm going to, but I had my seatbelt on before I walked up to the car, and I took it off because I had to get my wallet out of my bag. But regardless, I'm not going to argue with the guy.
Well, and I
I get
see
the fact of what you're saying though. If it's your safety, it's your life. If you don't want to wear a seatbelt, you shouldn't get taken.
That's
for
how
it.
I
get
feel.
that.
The same way I feel about motorcycle helmets. I think you're dumb if you don't wear one when you ride a bike. But it's personal. It's personal life. If you want to ride a bike with no helmet, that should be your right. Especially,
I don't
liberal of you. I'm really proud of you, buddy.
agree.
I've
I agree
always
with
felt
you,
that
but let
way.
me give you the other side of that argument. There's a motorcycle driver that's without a helmet, driving in front of you. He stops at the line. You hit him, knock him off. He hits his head and dies.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're not only facing charges for reckless homicide, but you're also facing the civil charge of the fact that you hit him and killed him.
I mean, I would still face the reckless homicide, regardless of the helmet.
But it was his personal choice not to wear it.
No, I'm saying with or without the helmet, I'd still face reckless homicide.
Would you?
I mean, if the helmet's
wearing
in
the
life,
helmet,
it
might
might
not
Depends
kill
on
them.
what I did. If I pulled up and was reckless and stupid, but if it's determined I pulled up and another car caused me to run to the guy, it's different.
And you make
But
make
that's the difference
mistakes.
between.
Yeah.
But that's the difference between paying paying fines or getting charged with an accident where the dude lived and pays his hospital bills,
Yeah.
as opposed to manslaughter or actual
Again,
homicide.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just
I see what
presenting
you're
the
saying.
other
I see what
side.
you're saying. That makes sense.
No,
Because I'm with Reagan on this. I don't believe in a law that seeks to protect you from you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the way I feel about now car insurance. I feel differently about. I think everybody should have car
Oh, yeah.
insurance because you're personally responsible for what you do in your vehicle, and since you can personally affect someone else, that's why I think seatbelt and helmet laws are not that, because you really are just damaged. Now, in your case, what you're presenting is true. If they can up your charge from negligent to voluntary or whatever it may be, then I think helmets. But they don't do that in Illinois.
No.
If you have a wreck with a motorized rider and they die because of their not wearing a helmet, it was on them.
Man, I'm not trying to make Illinois out to be anything right, okay?
No, I'm not. But I'm saying in that case, they've kind of covered that. Case law in Illinois has covered that,
Yeah.
basically. That if you choose not to wear a helmet, that is all on you. Same way with seatbelt. I don't agree with seatbelts, but I also believe that the Insurance Institute set the pricing and the laws for a lot of stuff. They have a lot of influence over law enforcement because they set the prices for insurance.
And there you go. I think seatbelts make it you absolutely. They're the fact based make you safer in an accident. However, if I'm going out of my house and driving 2 blocks, I shouldn't have to put my damn seatbelt on if I don't want to.
Well, I think it all comes down to the officer discretion, and most officers, for the most part, have been pretty cool. Like Jackson PD's always been pretty cool with stuff like that. But this highway patrolman, he pulled me over.
They understand it because they have to try them.
Yeah, exactly. But I got pulled over, and it was before my front license plate. And then he came up and asked me a bunch of questions, and I didn't mind answering the questions. But then I told him that I had a loaded weapon in the car, and I handed it to him. He said, "Thank you. That's what you're supposed to do." And I said, "I know. That's why I've got a concealed carry. I got the training on it." I handed him the gun, put it on top of the roof, and then he came back after a while and he brought me the ticket. And I said, "Really?" That's what I said to him. I said, "Really?" I said, I had my seatbelt on. And he goes, "Well, I didn't see it when you came up." I'm like, "I had to get my wallet." So I just said, okay, fine, give me
And
the
from
ticket.
now on, you're going to be like, can I take my seatbelt off to go get that?
No, I'm going to continue to do the same thing I just did.
Well, that's dumb.
It's
He didn't
habitual,
teach me anything. It's habitual.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can tell me to wear a seatbelt, man. It's just my personal opinion. So, but that comes down to personal choices.
And again, let me tell you how things should go. You get pulled over, you've committed a crime or you haven't. Roll the window down, stick your hands out. Let them
That's
know
what
you're
I
not a
do
threat.
every time.
I do
And
that
then
anyway.
they say license registration. Say, okay, I'm going to take my seatbelt off. I'm going to reach for it. I don't have weapons in the car, or I do. You
Well,
can have it. Whatever you want to do.
For your safety in mind.
But I get-
and,
but
and
see,
those
look-
are the key words.
But I get that. But here's my thing also. Police officers have to remember that they're humans and we're humans. And you it's not robotic. You know, you don't walk up to a car. Not
And
everybody.
that you have rights.
and not everybody's going to go, oh, okay. Some people are going to want to ask questions. Like, I want to know why I got pulled over. I don't want to just get pulled over for no reason.
We are in danger every day of our lives by people who say, I know my rights and fucking don't.
Well, I get that. But
And how many videos are out there on the internet of people that go out intentionally try to get pulled over or have an interaction with a police officer?
like the guys that walk around with
know
ARs.
their rights.
Bruh.
Guys that walk around ARs right by a police station. Come on, dude. You are.
Is it
I'm doing
legal
a First
or is it a
Amendment.
good idea?
Well, it's legal in the place.
Second
you're
Or
doing it.
is it a good idea?
Oh, it's a terrible idea. And even though you're allowed to do it, doesn't mean you should do it. You know, I mean,
That's right.
It's baiting.
If meth became legal,
Yes.
don't think you should do it. Still, it's kind of a shitty drug.
I like the
but
weight loss.
if it was legal, it's
Man, who
still
needs
it's
sleep?
okay. But my opinion is, I think each case,
Hope y'all heard
and you see this, and I don't know because as a prosecutor, I'm sure you see so many cases, and some you have to try to run through and get done. But you know, if as a public defender, you've worked in defense before. I think public defenders get so inundated with cases that one becomes another, and it just runs together. And sometimes cases don't get the attention they deserve, and then there's individuals in poor communities that won't get the attention that someone else might get.
And I can tell you that's much more pervasive and worse in the public defender's realm than it is in the prosecutor realm.
Oh, I believe
And
that.
you're also one of the few people, few prosecutors I've ever met that isn't jaded. I mean, think about how many people do this over and over and see the same shit over and over.
Oh
and just
man,
kinda put somebody in the
there
same
are
class.
prosecutors out there that'll be like, "You're a criminal, and I'm going to screw you."
Exactly.
And I feel like there's also.
the moment you lose that objectivity, you got to get out.
I also feel like there's a lot of prosecutors that get worried about their statistics, their conviction rates.
Yes.
And
Especially
they
ones
don't
that are-
look at a case by case
Especially
Hey,
ones that
basis.
man,
get
it's
it.
okay to be worried about that. Worry about it in the right way, like my
In the
boss
right
does.
way, yes.
Well, especially if you get elected. If you get elected,
Yeah.
you run on your record. So
Oh, yeah.
when you go to campaign stops, you're shaking hands. I know. Remember Morley Swingle? He had an amazing conviction rate. I mean,
What do you mean
above
surprisingly
average.
good conversations?
Yeah, yeah. Somebody
He said
complimented.
surprisingly good conversations, guys. What do you mean surprisingly?
Because
We-
typically we're all
Right.
rambling into some stupid stuff. But thank you for the compliment. We appreciate it. But you are watching Session stream live from Shaker's Bar, downtown Cape. We do this every Thursday from 8 to 10. And I don't think we're going to take any more Thursdays off. What day is Christmas?
Thanksgiving
Friday?
is
Saturday?
on Thursday.
No, we're
We're
doing
a
live
Thursday show.
I will
streams.
be out on that.
I
day.
know. Cody's going to be gone too. So
So I'll be behind the bar, and we're going to do it up there at the
We're going to do a
bar.
Thursday show from the bar. It'll be just.
We're gonna
shit
talk turkey.
Talk turkey. That's right. We call it a wild turkey with Monroe. So. And then we've got Christmas Eve with Chris. That was another one of my
Oh,
favorites.
Steph's bringing us food.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
The one that
I'll probably
Steph
make it
brought
down
you food?
after. Or maybe like part of the way down.
We're going to need a. We're
Don't make
we're all
promises
gonna need a
you can't
huge
keep.
My mom's
turkey
coming to
leg.
town.
Can we
and
do
I
a
always
final
make some
thought
my mom, so.
tonight?
Sure, we can do
I think
final thoughts.
it'd be great.
Jerry Springer now?
do final thought.
This is a Springer show.
This is a crime and punishment suit, and that's what we always find out. Is typically on the show we run out of time because the topics are typically big. You know, mental health is huge. That's why I want to do it on certain subjects.
Oh, yeah.
So crime and punishment was huge, but this opens the door to do another show on specific things. You know,
I didn't get to finish the book. That thing's huge.
domestic violence and all this kind of stuff, and so what we've kind of talked about tonight, and what you
we
guys
kidnapped?
Yeah, that's for you, Cody. It's a
Yeah,
little.
that's a straight molester,
Free
man.
nails, I'm
Wi-Fi.
good. You guys are fucked.
They're gonna take you in there and strap a
too
vagina
big, I'm
hat
good.
on your head and take you to a parade.
Fat people are hard to kidnap, man. You know, that's what
Yeah, you hard to kidnap.
good luck getting us
Hey, there
in the
ain't no
car.
trunk for you guys. You guys are safe from trunk kidnappings, that's for sure.
But he said
Feet
he's
will be
got
hanging
puppies
out,
and
driving
candy.
out. And this guy, you can't even get in a coffin.
But he's got
Yeah.
puppies and candy.
Take me away.
Puppies. I've always wondered who drives that van. That's one of those jumper vans.
Go ask him, man.
No, that's a terrorist van. That's not even a molester van.
I'm actually pretty sure I saw that in White House Down.
Yes, I did too. Oh, right outside the bar. He's going to Hot Shot, so hopefully he'll blow up that, not us.
Hey,
But so it's a big subject, and you know you have a lot of sides of things. a lot of sides of things that you Cody's watching the game
Sorry.
by if you don't know. I think I'm going to turn this around next time. You're going to sit right where Matt's at or Chris
Some
is
of the
at.
Steelers aren't playing on the next
Yeah,
game.
I didn't know you were a Steelers fan.
Huge Steelers fan.
Oh, really? Are you from Pittsburgh?
No, just a huge Steelers fan.
Oh, okay.
My roommate, Levon, for most of our time. I mean, you can't be around Matt Eaton and Levon Pates and not become a fucking Steelers
You know, I
fan.
heard that in Pittsburgh,
We
if you
got
blow
you
a
a-
rape whistle, Ben
We got you a
Roethlisberger appears.
championship from my damn kicker being
Hold on. Say that again. Say that again.
In Pittsburgh, if you blow a rape whistle, Ben Roethlisberger will appear.
That's for you, Rob.
Is Rob at Pittsburgh?
Oh, Rob is the Pittsburgh fan.
I owe that joke to a buddy of mine, Thaddeus Chapman.
Rob probably doesn't think that Ben was guilty then, because a lot of people that
Rob
love,
thinks that the Steelers have never cheated in a game.
really.
I mean, they're not the
Yeah.
Patriots.
They cheat on their
No,
wives.
they're not the
and all that.
Patriots.
The Steelers are the original cheaters of football.
What was that meme with what's his name carrying a camera from New England, the head coach?
Oh,
from New England.
Bill Belichick.
Oh,
Bill
Belichick.
Belichick. Bill
Belichick.
Belichick.
Spygate.
He's carrying a camera. And he said, "This is so and so's new camera operator." And who is it? It was for like some other team.
It was Bill
Oh,
Belichick.
It was for who's the team that beat them?
Eagles.
Was the Eagles that beat them
Super
this year?
Bowl?
No,
No, you're
Oh,
talking about the
this year.
Giants.
Gotcha.
this year.
Oh, this year.
Yeah,
The Ravens.
Ravens. The new Ravens
Yeah, the
cameraman.
Ravens' new cameraman.
The new Ravens cameraman. It shows Bill Belichick behind the camera. Anyway, let's do some closing thoughts. We're near the end here, and then I'll be the final one. We'll let Chris kind of throw out if he wants to close out on anything. I think next episode we'll throw some more sports in there and some more entertainment, and we'll do a different one
Ah, yes.
coming from the crowd.
Close us out, brother.
Close us out. How are we doing this?
Well, you just anything that we talked about that you want to have a final say on, whether it had to do with crime and punishment. Or
I mean,
anything
I've
we
pretty
talked
much
about
said
earlier.
anything I need to say on it, but it's just all food for thought, and it's all objective and perspective. It's really
Man, that's
good size.
that's pretty cool. Objective and perspective. That'd be a freaking T-shirt.
Make a decision and stand by it. Stop being a
Is that the name of
bitch.
the podcast now? Objective and Perspective?
He never
I'm telling
once
you,
said
man.
that to me, and I'm considered
I'm
the
telling you.
candidate
Hey,
of
I want to compliment Chris for real, man. Chris,
He's a good
did
guess.
not want to come on the show because he didn't know if he could kind of not say
Dial
too
back.
much. Yeah, because he
did
tends
well.
he tends to talk a lot and
I ramble.
talk over people, but he did really good. Like I could see you
guess.
struggling a few times though.
oh man.
Kept going. But he did good, man. I compliment you. All right, Matt Lawler, give us your closings.
As a prosecutor, I will say this. The moment that I forget that you're a human being, going through human being things, I'm out. I will always be that person that looks at you and says, you know what, let me hear your story before I attempt to pass judgment on you.
Okay, that's good. Cody.
My final thought is if I ever commit a crime, I really hope it's in Scott County.
Bro, I'm going to buck 10 to
There's
Scott County.
plenty of them you can do there, buddy. Plenty of them you can do. Zach.
I got a Pokemon named after me. I get to play it tonight at midnight.
Yes. And my final statement is I appreciate you guys coming out and being a part of the show. And this was a prime example of just some guys sitting around a table having a conversation about life in general. And tonight we talked about crime and punishment. And if you have been a victim of crime, God bless you. We hope everything works out for you. If you are a person that's involved in crime, get your act straight. But there are considerations to each side of the story, and everybody needs to know each other's story as we go along. And sometimes there is a reason someone stole a loaf of bread,
And if you can hear
Or
me
there
crunching
is-
eyes on the mic, tell me so I stop.
or there is a well, I can hear you. So
I can hear
they
it sitting
hear
right
you.
here. Stop.
That doesn't mean they can.
Stop.
No, they hear it even more. Trust me.
Well, they haven't said it yet.
Dude, that mic is right there.
Yeah, no, trust me because I watched one of the shows and I was chewing ice and I heard it the whole time, crunch, crunch, crunch.
Fair enough.
Oh, you're forgetting him. Oh, you're forgetting. He's right here. Liberal, right here. That's a liberal kidnap man.
Damn, I didn't even get my vagina hat. Fuck.
How are
You
you
get your
supposed to
pink
yell
vagina
at the
hat.
sky
I know.
now?
All right, guys, we're going to close it out. For my guests, Zach, Cody, Matt, and of course Chris. We'll have Chris back sometime.
That's good.
In 2 weeks, Thursday.
Well, that's true.
On
That's
Thanksgiving,
true.
yeah.
Maybe longer than after that, and for more. For your host Eric, we're going to try to get some other people on the show. Carrie, hopefully, we'll get here soon, and
Yeah.
we'll
She
get
gets
her
off
on.
her ass and gets down here.
Yeah, damn you, Carrie. But and for Jay Johnson behind the camera, I'm Eric Harp, your host. You've been watching Session Stream Live from Shaker's Bar,
Cheers.
downtown Cape. We do it every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. Join us next week. I will post a video on our subject. I'm going to start doing a little preview video for everybody. I did that a couple of times. So thank you for joining us and coming back every week. We can't do the show without you. Thank you for participating. To all the new viewers, we'll see you next week, Thursday.
For real.